Well, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. It got down to 16 degrees here last night in Bangkok. Oh my God, starting to feel like it's Australia in the middle of autumn. Um, yeah, let me just pop that chat out. So I'm now playing with I think I've worked out the workflow for this new YouTube streaming thing. Oh my God. But at least I got the right settings. And I don't know what my delay is, so one. It's about 8 second delay as opposed to that 30-second delay we were experiencing before. Um, anyway, so we're all good. Robert Mack, he was there just a few seconds ago, and Thomas, he's with us on the audio channel somewhere. He said he was just going to get himself something to eat. And then Choco, good morning, Choco. How are you? And don't forget, if you want to join us on the stream, let me get the links out so I can share those links with you. Where are we? Okay, let's go to that page. Yep, so if you want to join us on the Discord channel, Mr. Mitch, good afternoon, good morning. I can't remember whereabouts you're from. I think you're in Australia, but anyway. So there's the Discord link if you want to join us on the chat. Let's fill the thing up, so don't forget, check out my website whenever you get time. One thing I will be talking about this morning is my Twitch channel. Follow me on Twitch, so anybody that wants to catch up with me randomly when I'm streaming my games. I've decided I'm not going to put my game stuff, unless of course there's something special to talk about in the gaming arena. I'm not going to be putting gaming on my regular YouTube channel. A few people have mentioned that in the past that I should use the Twitch platform. Well, I finally got my Twitch platform set up. And we've been streaming pretty much daily for the last week there, just at random times. Don't forget, Robert Charles, good afternoon, morning. I think, Robert, morning, I think. I wish I knew which freaking time zones everybody was, so good day to you. Yeah, so don't forget my Patreon, so we do take care of our Patreons. And even if you don't want us to pledge anything to the Patreon, just don't forget to hit that follow button. There's things going to be developing on the platform. And of course, if you ever feel inclined to buy me a beer, there's the buy me a beer link. And if you're not already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Right, anyway, the official stuff's over and done with. Sean Lynch, how you doing? Just getting back to that Melbourne. That's it, good. It's 2 p.m. Excuse me. Getting back to the Twitch channel. So I might as well just give you a bit of a pop out, just give you a quick run through on that. If I just bring up that there and just pull the Twitch out. So here's my Twitch. And I'll just minimize that for a second so I can get back to the screen. Yeah, so Twitch is another broadcasting platform if you're not familiar with it. So that's my banner. That's my home page. That's my banner. It doesn't really fit really well on the screen. There you go. You're quite welcome to follow me on the Twitch platform. I've got 4 followers. I've got 4 followers on Twitch. There you go. How's that? But I've only been streaming pretty much for the last 7 days, I did the walkthrough on this platform, on the YouTube platform last Monday. We took a wander around Star Citizen because I had the last day of the expo. But yeah, I've pretty much been on there every day since. And it's I'm either gaming alone or I'm streaming with my friends, either in Australia or in the US. As I don't really have a job, I can pretty much stream when anybody else is playing the game. Right now, my interest is in Star Citizen because there's actually a playable version of the game, and I can pretty much after 2 years, get involved with it to really get a feel for how the game works. I'm going to be doing some other testing down the track as well over the next week or so. I'm going to be putting a new graphics card in there to bump up the frames per second. But then again, I'm also going to be comparing that against what do you call it? This what they call the shadow PC, which is the PC in the cloud, which means I don't have to upgrade my computer if I can actually get a decent connection to the PC cloud sort of base software, then I may do that. Seeker said he's going to give me a test run on his account there that he's got set up and see if it works for me here in Thailand. But yeah, so yeah, it's the whole idea is the fact that I'm going to be dropping down to the one live stream a week, which is going to be Saturday, because we get a fairly good cross section of people on Saturday. We hit the early, starting at 10, we get some US subscribers, and then towards the end of the day we also pick up a lot more people towards the closing of the afternoon in Australia, and I think that's good enough. I don't want to saturate people, and I want to sort of focus on sort of building up the audience, and then again sort of I've probably sort of dropping down the videos to 1 or 2 a week as well. I think it's got to the point where people are getting sort of oversaturated with my content. Welcome back there, Robert. Yeah, so pop over to that Twitch channel there. That the link is just in the scroll up. The link's there. Hit that subscribe button. That'll obviously tell you when I'm going live. And you can sort of join in the chat through there, and obviously on our Discord. Anyway, enough of that, and we've got somebody in the background. That's Blue Zinks joined us again. Good afternoon, yeah. Blue. Oh, good morning, Hello. Blue. How you doing? Good morning. Yeah. Anyway, let's go and do the typical roll up channel roundup. Okay, it looks like I've jumped on and Foreigner Joe's still streaming there. So he's doing he's Thailand versus Philippines. So he's doing a live stream there. I think we covered this traditional Thai house last time. Yes, okay, I'm live streaming now. There we go, live now. Excuse me. And of course the video I did put out yesterday, the Cha pool party. I don't know if we want to go through that. I think that really did really well. I had a lot of fun with that one. If you haven't seen it already. Oh, bloody ads. Get out of here. Why can't I skip the ad? I'm not going to play that for 39 seconds. Really? God.
Yeah, you can, unless you subscribe to them.
Oh, really? Okay. Going full screen there. Where does the pool fun start? I think around about here. Yep. Where were we? There we go. Chanya in here.
I'm excited to show you these modular
really?
flashlights from InspireUplift.com.
Give me a break. These ads are annoying. Seriously.
Yeah. You have to subscribe to them, premium member.
I know. Yeah. Forget about it. Anyway, you have to put up with the ads. Obviously, they're putting more and more ads out because it's Christmas time. But yeah, it was a pretty fun day. We did a lot of running around and a little bit of swimming and having a lot of fun.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun.
Yeah.
Maggie, reunited moment, long distance relationships. She looks like she's back with her boy. Good on her.
Oh, really?
This is a live stream with a frang dinner on the boat on Chara River. Yeah, unfortunately, she hit me up on Tuesday night when we were out with the meetup, and she hit me up on the messenger. Again, when I'm out and about, I'm not like the typical, millennial where everything is in front of your face like this every 5 seconds of the day. when I'm out with people, the phone goes in my pocket, and if people are messaging while I'm out, I only check the phone probably every 30 minutes. And she was obviously asking me questions where I was, because it sounded like she wanted us to meet up as well in the group. And unfortunately, just because I wasn't watching what was happening on my phone, we didn't get to meet up. But hopefully we'll get to meet up next time. J Lampang 64, Swaddy Cup. I'm in Mexico, USA, 8:10. That's a Mexico, New Mexico, 8:10 p.m. Oh, good on you. A bit warm down there, I would expect. Anyway, moving along. So, Fi, again, she's quite prolific with her live streams and everything else. Popular videos. So, a little bip. Again, I've got to put the translator on. Translate that page. Ginseng, Gina, delicious healthy drink. No, I won't drink that stuff, sorry. I might take the ginseng tablets, but I won't actually drink the stuff. No time to be sad. Chuck, what is it? Time to bring the spirit to Thailand. Time to bring the spirit to Thailand. Anybody see that one? Anybody catch up with that one yet?
No.
No.
Yeah, he's talking about his last year or earlier this year. He gave some gifts and stuff to the school, and he's going to be doing basically a Christmas party. Oh,
okay. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, he's very prolific with Te hopping at the local community down there. If I was a bit more financially secure, I'd probably do a bit of that myself. But I've got a budget, and I still like to enjoy myself. Thailand Unplugged, his news circuit 2 days ago, news from Southeast Asia. Jocko, I think he's back. There's another video there from Chiang Mai nightlife a couple of days ago. So he looks like he's got some in the can footage, and he's back in Amsterdam. Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell whether he's actually back in Chiang Mai, even he just went back for a few days. I have to go and check out his videos. Niall, okay. A lot of beeping going in the background there. I'm bored. Let's have a beer and chat. That was the live stream he did 3 days ago. David Daly, the amazing Angkor Wat. Not quite sure what that one's about. Don't think they have Wats in Philippines or Vietnam or Cambodia, do they? They don't call them a Wat over there. So I don't know, maybe it's footage from back here again. Who knows? Fun for Emily. Sampran Market, Bangkok. So he was back in wandering around the local area. BT Bangkok travel. 24 hours in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm pretty sure he's not back here. He hasn't told me he's back here. Direction Bangkok. Do I feel unwelcome in Thailand? Well, if you want Thailand to be more like your own planet, own country, yes, that's very possible. We're going to talk about that later on in the live stream. So. Dan about Thailand, stunning Pattaya Villa, and the glorious. There's a big fire down in Pattaya the other day. 400 people evacuated from one of the hotels down there. A bit of a letdown for the Pattaya residents. I visited Chuck and Paige, and they just got back after 4 days, and Thai Phenom. I know. Yeah, Robert. I would hope to meet up with him at some stage. Unfortunately, we're just like two ships that never seem to cross paths. With him bouncing around, when he's in Bangkok, I've either got something on. You know how it goes. But we'll eventually get to hook up at some stage and probably do something together, do a collab. Dowlow, good morning. At least we got one of our. One of our moderators online today, which is good. What I should do is I actually should put Augie and Blue Zinc as a moderator as well. But Blues Inc. hasn't put a photo up, so he needs to put a photo on his page so he can do that.
Oh, okay.
Robert, yeah, okay, so we're planning to go to the motor show tomorrow, are we? I've got the free tickets, so I've got it in my calendar for tomorrow, so let's sort of try to sort of swing that for tomorrow. That foreign bloke getting around Ubon so a bit more up and around the rural area of Thailand. Do more life. Where's these uploads? How to fail at retirement in Thailand. That's an interesting title for a video. I might go and check out what he's talking about there later on. Bangkok, Banana King, Bangkok. Banana King, Bangkok Airways Lounge is great. Well, if you want to spend the time at a lounge, I think getting from point A to point B is my main concern when I'm flying. Brian's Thailand. Looks like he's got another one out from, well, he hasn't done anything for a couple of weeks. Building in Thailand Part 6 with Brian's Thailand. So obviously a bit of an update on his house and building up there. I don't want to sort of play it. Well, maybe let's see if we can actually get a bit of a snapshot of how that house is going. I've got something coming up.
This isn't his house. This is the ones that the project he's been following.
Oh, this is the project, is it? A bit more work done there. It's amazing how well. I said the video I've got coming out next on my channel will be when we visited Rob. I've been watching Rob's build through his Facebook, over the last 3 months, and it's just cracking along quite nicely. So there's a bit going on there with Brian. Our Thai journey. Yes, we're getting a lot of feedback from the pool party. A lot of people enjoyed that. Somebody even said it has the potential to go viral, but as I said, we've got 1,800 viewers or something, but 1,800 views in less than 24 hours, but it doesn't seem to be actually going anywhere after that. The usual people that look at that sort of stuff it hasn't tweaked anything in the YouTube algorithms to sort of get it in front of more people, which is a bit of a pain. It's up to you guys. Get out there and share it with your friends. Our Thai journey. So this is the one that Tim did. I think I mentioned that last live stream. So the house building. We'll be covering that in the next video. And this is them sort of obviously doing some more house hunting down in the Cha Am area. I'd like to move to Cha Am myself. But looks like Chanya's been. Would you stop banging around there, Blue? Really? Go to push. You're going to do that. Go to push to talk if you're going to go and build your house. So unfortunately, Chanya, she's a bit apprehensive about the whole move thing because, she spent the last 12 months building her business, and she's now getting a good flow of clientele, and she's actually making some good dollars or good income from it, comparatively. But hey, it's just one of those sort of things, if we move to Cha Am to get the advantages of living in Cha Am, like less traffic, that holiday sort of lifestyle, access to the beach, pop over to Rob's place, swim in his pool, pop over to Sir Tim's place, swim in his pool, or they can pop over to my place for a barbecue, because I probably won't have a pool for quite some time. That's going to be our lifestyle there. Really not much to do with a video. All videos are going to be sort of, trips around the place. You get the idea. It's going to be sort of a beach lifestyle, whereas I've got access to a lot more stuff here. But she would take probably 18 months to 2 years to probably build the business up again with less available clientele to bring in, and that's just something I think she's really quite apprehensive about. But yeah, we'll still got to see how things go. I started moving the deposit across this week, so that's the next stage, is moving the financials across. so that they'll actually entertain giving us a loan. So I started that process. We got a new bank account. There it is, the new bank account with Siam Commercial Bank. Live Travel Asia. What's he up to? That's right. He was out with my friend Sarah, and Sarah's. These are two foreign grown-up Thai girls. Cute, both cute. I think both of them don't have boyfriends either. But yeah, anyway. Moving along. Nick down in Pattaya uploads Christmas shopping with June. Yes, and catching up with the nice guy Neil, plus a Christmas party planning down there. Where else we got? Big Fat Betsy. What's the Big Fat Betsy? Royal Garden Plaza Pattaya. The Insane Upstairs Carnival. That could be an interesting one to look at. So again, it's just one of those sort of things, Dalla. You know, I do want to get settled. I just, you know, it's one of those sort of things. I am quite certain they will be putting the rent up again next May in this house. And again, you've got to sign a 12-month lease, and I really don't know how that leasing works. Right? If you sign a 12-month lease and you bail out early, then you know you've got to pay the 12 months lease fees. That's what you have to do in Australia, or you'll have an exit clause that you can usually leverage, but usually there's money involved and you lose your bond. I'm not quite sure how it works over here. I'm pretty sure that they don't chase you down the way Thailand works. But, you know, so we want to get into our own place before we have to re-sign the lease. And again, I don't know whether it's one of those sort of things where we can go to month to month until we're finally ready to move. It's all up in the air at the moment. Anyway, the stage we're at right now is to move the $500,000. I'm moving $500,000 baht over into the Siam Commercial Bank. That's the deposit for the house. From what I understand, they're loaning us 1 million baht for every 100,000 baht we can front up as a deposit. So it's like we're going to front up with a 10% deposit before they'll give you the loan. So that's the sort of way it's panning out from my understanding. So I'll move $500,000 baht over. We're looking. I'd like to service something no more than a 4 million baht loan, which is probably 3.5 million, I should say, because you got the $500,000 as well as the deposit. So that's our price range. We're looking up to 4 million. And again, the Australian dollars did sort of drop. Did pop up a bit. I just had somebody message me on Facebook, on Messenger. Was that Joe Garcia? Okay, he's down in Philippines looking at buying a motorcycle at the moment. So what have we got on the Australian dollar front? So we actually peaked out at 20.7 over the last couple of days when I moved the money across, which was a bit of my advantage. Let's hopefully it'll continue to rise as I move the money across to save myself a few bucks. What are the interest rates? So I think we were covering that before, and I said when we were looking at the property market with that property vendor, they were showing the average interest rates are around about 5%. They do vary. I said I think when we looked at the one out at the house out at Nakhon Pathom, the first one in that the first video I did on the looking around, they were showing us the prices there. I said, if I put $1 million baht down, how much was that 5.3 million or 5.2 million house? And they said if you pay that was a loan of 4.2 million. The first 3 years was done at 3%. Right, and then it jumps up to 5.5% after the 3 years. So the 3 years, it's like a 3 years fixed, and after 3 years it goes to the 5.5% variable interest rate. This is the sort of thing we do in Australia as well. You'll take your first home or your home loan, and they'll give you sort of what they call a couple of years at a low interest rate to rope you in. Sometimes it feels like raping you in, yeah, because that's the way it is, isn't it? But yeah, they'll rope you in at a low, starting figure, and then you go into what they call a variable interest rate. And it seems to be that's the way it works over here. And every bank's going to do different deals. The what they call the central bank rate currently is 1.25%, whereas Australia, I think we're running at 0.75. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the base rate or the Reserve Bank rate is 0.75 in Australia, and that's where you're basing. Like the banks will sort of usually throw on another extra 4% on average from the base rate. That seems to be like pretty much an international sort of standing. They got to make some money, and that's how they make their money. So if we get a 1.25, which is at least 50 basis points higher, that's your prime rate. That's the bank lending rate. But I think your what they call the Reserve Bank rate is actually sort of 0.25% at the moment, isn't it? I'd have to look it up. Reserve RAS. US. South African, but no, come on, American Central Bank. Okay, so. Oh, okay, so it's actually climbed a bit. It's American interest rate, FED long-term graph. Right, so it's 1.7, okay, so they're actually a bit on the higher side. It was, see, we're down to, that's Australia, so Australia's 0.75. Brazil, oh, look at that, no, that was a base in Brazil, yeah, 5%. Europe, 0%. Japan -1%. Oh my God, they want you to put the money in there. Yes, it looks like the Federal Reserve is actually 1.75. Actually, it's a bit higher than I thought it would be. So, not too bad. Anyway, let's go back to home there. Getting back to the roundup, I just want to get this out of the way. So yes, Sarah, we were doing. We did a live stream we got her set up, and she, like myself, we managed to work out all the bugs with the live streaming thing. If you are a streamer and you've got the Streamlabs on your phone, unfortunately, unless of course you pay the subscription, you can't remove the Streamlabs branding on your phone. But I've worked out how to plug Streamlabs into the new setup formula or the new workflow. So everything should be working. And that's the other thing I haven't checked. I haven't even checked to make sure my stream. I've got some things on there, but I don't know. Looks like the stream is working. I just can't tell whether all the. Oh, that's right. Looks like the text chat part's working as well. So that's the main thing. So it's probably plugged in. It's plugged into the stream properly this time. So that's the main thing. Moving along. Anyway, so she did that. An interesting open question, sort of subscriber requested basically conversational Thai. I love the way she teaches. I just find it, out of all the stoic sort of versions of Thai learning, I think she's got a bit of a sort of particular way of doing it that makes it interesting to watch. So keep an eye out for her live streams. What I'm trying to get her to do is to get it to a scheduled time so that people can put the little bell on in advance and join in and sort of interact with her as she's doing the live streams, because she answers a few questions as she goes along, which is the main thing. Ian Welldale, Lamphun Temple on the Hill. Fraser Hainsworth down in Hatchai there. Popular uploads, videos, talking about Thai language with hostel owner Ratty. Is that his name? Oh, I know there's a premiere he's got coming up. Premieres, next week. So 2 days ago was that she does not want to pay. Okay. Thai Girl Gift, out with Joe again, December in Bangkok. Finally got to meet Gift and Joe. Oh, I've met Joe a few times, but I finally got to meet Gift face to face last Sunday in Joe's meetup. That meetup, I think he was doing a video, hasn't come out yet, but keep an eye out from that. But yeah, she's a lovely girl. We sat down, had coffee in the morning, went to the Emporium, and we had lunch at the food court, which was a lot of fun. We did that with Joe and a bunch of others and Robert, and yeah, it was a great day. Then of course we just wandered on a bit from there and had a few beers as well. Serena, yep, okay, uploads, hangover morning. She looks like she hasn't done her hair. A lovely girl. Andy Wright, that's the last one on the list. He's up to day 3, part 1, October the 14th. That's obviously he's obviously doing all these recorded footage from when he was doing his trip over here. Anyway, so there's the channel roundup. All good. Right. So, Vietnam is 8.03 on your savings account for 6 months in Vietnam. Really? 8.03%. Just open a bank account over there and shove some money over there it's better than some of my investment portfolio. Anyway, so what have we got? I was hoping Stephen was going to join us, but he hasn't turned up, the slacker. We were talking about doing something last night. Thailand news. Lucky Luke, good morning. Yeah, so we got a couple of articles we were going to. I said I wanted Stephen here, but I know he's looking after his mum. His mum's in hospital, so he's probably gone back to the hospital again to take care of her because. As he's been telling me, the hospital just does completely absolutely shit job trying to look after the elderly. She's had a fall, and I think he was just saying his mother was sitting in a chair for 3 hours waiting for hospital staff to put her back into bed because she couldn't get herself into bed. Really? This is what Australia's hospital systems come to? It's absolutely ludicrous. I have got one of my subscribers here. We've met up through the meetup program. He's actually moved his mother out from the US to Thailand to take care of her and get the Thai system to take care of her. Because he says the palliative care that they provide here in Thailand is like 10 times better than you'd ever get in the US, and I think that's the same case we've got for Australia as well. It's appalling. What's our hospital systems coming to? It's not like people keep on saying Australia has free hospital, but we don't have free hospital. We have a public hospital system which is paid through via your taxes, right? So, of course, if you don't pay tax, then effectively the hospital is free. But basically, if you're earning an income, there is a surcharge on your income outside your income tax, which is your hospital contributions tax, or what they call your Medicare levy tax, which is a separate it's in along with your taxation system, but it actually has a different thing. I think it's 1.5% of your income over up to $50,000 a year taxable income. Then it jumps to 2.5% or something like that. I don't know what the numbers are. But yeah, that pays for the public hospital system. So it's not free. But again, like she's a pensioner, this is where those taxes come in to pay for the people who can't work and can't thing. And it's a system, I think it's a leverageable system, but unfortunately it's just getting out of hand with the way it's administered now, and that they keep on cutting funding for it because they can't pay. Well, this current government is trying to balance the books, and they're not spending money on future projects and infrastructure and things like that, which grow a country and then make your dollar rise. America's doing it, but Australia's just being a holdout with that. Trump, obviously, everybody hates Trump. You either love Trump or you hate Trump. But one thing he is doing is he's started to encourage local manufacturing again. That's something that's definitely on the books there, that it's happening over there. So you've got to, that's what governments need to do. This neoliberal mandate they've been on for 20, 30 years is just completely screwed up. Niall, how you doing? I've just joined. Congratulations on Chanya. What did I miss? What? Just the channel roundup. Anyway, so what we've got to do today, what I was going to talk about, was we're going to talk about finding love. I think we've covered this subject before, but it's from a different angle. Now, I haven't actually read the article. Stephen was reading it out for me last night. He's the one who's read the article, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, because I've been busy playing games. I've got two articles here to go hand in hand, so let's get them up on screen. I'm actually having to look over my joystick here. get to the taskbar. Okay, so we've got two articles, and I'll minimise myself again. Here's the first one. Copy that link. Copy link. Now, I do want people to catch up and interact on this. Yeah. Is that the right link? No, that's it. Yep. Okay, there's article number 1. Dating despair: why finding love in Bangkok is hard for foreign women. Right, and then I think the other article I wanted to cover off. Actually, we've got the second one here. This is copy that link, and then we've got this one. This one here sort of comes into the same genre of information, and then of course this one here, Stephen gave me, and so some of the other side of the whole conversation. Oh, there he is. Kun Stephen, how are you? Oh, come on.
You hear me? Yeah.
I can. Don't know what it's doing there. Okay, so we've got these 3 articles, and I thought we'd make this as our conversation piece for the day, and sort of really sort of get really analytical on the whole dating scene. So we talked on a live stream a few weeks back, probably about a month back, about the dating apps, and we sort of elaborated a bit on that. And one of the things, of course, with everybody coming over here looking for love, there's a whole different society. And I was actually going to let Stephen do most of the talking today, because I'm always talking.
No, you're not. I'm not doing most of the talking. I know nothing about this.
Well, you were the one who was reading the articles. You were reading it out to me. So we got these. We started with this one, the Despazo, like the foreign women sort of coming into Thailand.
I'll try and get the articles up now. They're
on the Discord. You put them on the Discord there.
Yeah, that's right. Under news. Yeah, under news. Okay.
And then, of course, this one here: pros and cons of dating women in Thailand.
Yeah. I want to start with that one first.
The dating women in Thailand. Yeah. Okay. Why not?
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
I haven't read it.
Well, you can quickly read through it. Well, I'm just going to look at what everybody else talking.
Okay. Well, dating women. Well, Thailand, of course, everybody goes to Thailand to date women, but I suppose you could argue most people go to there in the Philippines as well.
I think that Asia is a destination because of the. Well, again, this is my perception of it. We in Australia we used to call it yellow fever, and it's not the yellow fever you get the jabs for. This is the one, the fact that you're living in the Asian region, and it's only sort of like 6 or 9 hours flight from Australia. And it's a fairly easy access to get into the Asian area, and quite frankly, people won't agree with me, of course, but there is just something about an Asian that they are just cute as all hell. I just love the way they look, Asian women, Asian ladyboys. They are just cute. That's it. In Australia, I'd have to say 1 out of every 50 girls over there would catch my eye, if for want of a better, summation. Basically, you might sort of visually sort of catch, 1 in 10 would catch your eye, but as soon as you start a conversation, they are up themselves and very opinionated, and they're very westernized. They're that whole thing. That's it. Oh, I've said hi, but now I want to go. That's the sort of thing that I've struck in Thailand, in Australia. Over here, over the last, since 2005, I did the bar scene for the first 4 years of coming to Thailand as well. My marriage was, not falling apart, was growing apart. So, she was carrying on with the guy over in England. So, when I did my little business trips over here, I did a bit of carrying on myself. But of course, there was no strings attached in my sort of sides, whereas her strings were attached. She's now living with the guy, and she's enjoying her life. My bar scene sort of stopped when I met Chanya. Basically, I met the girl of my dreams. But getting back to the whole visual thing, like I said, 1 in 50, is what I was to say is the girls I would find attractive in Australia. Whereas over here, it's probably, I've heard Tim sort of say it. He's still smitten. He's got a cute wife that he's married to, but he has trouble keeping his attention focused on what he's supposed to be doing, because you do. Like, even living 3 years here, I've been in a situation where, oh my God, not only the girls, the ladyboys, they said, probably 1 in every 3 would catch my eye.
Dallo hasn't had a problem because he's attached to Asian women, so he hasn't actually got to look for them.
Yeah, I've been always attracted to. Again,
You missed my joke there. You missed my joke there.
No, yeah, whatever. Attached at the hip, yeah. Attached at the wallet, attached at the hip.
Even if he wants a divorce, he can't get one. Oh no, hold on. He said I've always been more attached to Asian women. Okay. So.
Right, but yeah. Anyway, so but again, over here, like you get. It's very hard to not be, distracted by the amount of pretty girls over here, and that is no joke.
Do you like women with long black hair or short black hair? What do you prefer, long hair or?
Well, again, I like the long black hair, but again, I when Chanya had her short hair, that page girl, what they call the shoulder cut, that really looked attractive on her, and I've sort of said I'd like to see her go back to that style. But again,
they can all look nice. My one is to the crack of the arse.
Yeah, so you like it really, really long. Yeah, so that's more like the Indian, I think.
Just so it touches the crack of the arse, the top of the crack of the arse.
Yeah, I think it's the Indian women really like it that long. I know. In the case of Goy, she's got hair down to her waistline. She wears it braided. She finds it awkward, of course, riding bikes. She has to tuck it inside her jacket and everything else. But yeah, it's one of those sort of things. I'm not going to go into the sexual part of it, but yeah, so when they're in cowboy and then they sort of on top and the hair's just tickling your
back of their ass.
Oh, and they're tickling your shoulders and your face and your chest. And I'm not going to. It is just something else.
The fan's blowing and it's coming back in your face, and you've got to, But as long as they've shampooed it, nothing worse than a woman coming up to you and she hasn't shampooed her hair. Oh, yuck.
Yeah, and Shanya's quite religious with the whole cleaning the hair, and she has to shampoo every 2 days. which again, she doesn't get the advantage. She's always doing most of the stuff that goes for the salon is actually wash and blow dries, not so much cuts. And she gets continual business of wash and blow dries, which is, I think, she charges 150 baht for that. So that's always, basically wash, puts the conditioner in, and then does the what they call the blow dry and straighten. Not with any chemicals. If you want the chemicals, what the keratin treatment, whether that costs extra, I think with the keratin treatment it costs 400 baht. But yeah, so that's a typical sort of repeat business.
Do you agree with the premise that the overwhelming majority of tourists travelling to Thailand, well, we know they're single men, but with the intention of meeting Thai women, many who are hoping to have a relationship with a Thai girl? I don't necessarily think that many want to get married or anything. They just have an intention of meeting a bar girl. That would be my first choice.
Oh, I would have to say, yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. The whole bar girl scene, it's prolific. It's an accepted part of Thailand, and even out as we did that video I showed you, like just the one here down at the Beckerden, just on the corner there, where the place that I've shown you that you should get if you're coming here for a month. We'll put you up in one of those one room, what they've got, single bed apartments rather than a hotel. 3,500 baht for the month.
I've got to finish my job application first. It says here the truth is the overwhelming. So most of these men will have an idea what they're looking for, and often it will be based on stereotypes that they are supported by the Western media, as opposed to first-hand information on their own experiences. So the lot of, before they even get to Thailand, a lot of people and the media, social media, have already told them what kind of women. Usually they say they've got no morality. This is just a reputation that Thai women have overseas, and Filipino women. If you chose, I always say the thing, if you chose 6 Asian countries, right, you said Thailand, Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, let's throw in another one in there, Malaysia. Everybody would pick for the most, I guess for want of another term, easy women. Everybody would choose Thailand.
Wait.
And
Steven, nobody wants to pick a Singapore women.
Let him finish. Go on.
Then you can yap away. So everybody would choose Thailand or the Philippines. So, and this is what I'm saying. This is, I believe, I might be wrong, this is one of the stereotypes. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying this is one of the stereotypes that if you chose, and I think everybody must agree on this, because I know it's the mentality at the airport in Australia. I know it's the mentality among friends. If I say I'm going to Malaysia, there's virtually nothing said. If I said I'm going to Japan, Singapore, nothing said. If I say I'm going to Thailand or I'm going to Philippines, we'll go, oh, really?
I'd have to agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now you can go, Blue Sink. Go on.
Blue?
Blue Sink, yours, mate.
What's he done?
No, you have been going all around the Asia country except Singapore.
Singapore? What's it like down in Singapore? I'm with Stephen. I don't hear people in Sydney saying, I'm going to Singapore to do the bar scene. That's what we're getting at.
That's not.
This is can we have your opinion on that? That's an interesting one. Throw it out to you. Is there a bar scene? Are the girls as open to the what they call the one night dating scene? Let's be a little bit tongue in cheek about that.
Okay, in Singapore you don't get the locals chicks, so-called they call it a transaction deal. Mostly our bars are all flooded with Filipinos, Thai ladies, and all from all over the Asian countries. And local girls or local chicks are really kind of rare,
Really? So you're sort of saying the fact that Thai girls and Filipinos come to Singapore, and then they do the same thing that they do in their home country. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, based on exchange rate, bro.
Right.
Here's the stereotype being extended again.
Right.
The stereotypes. So he just confirmed what I already said.
Yeah.
I've been to Singapore, and not in the old days when they had Boogie Street, because it would have been just like Thailand. It would have just been like the Philippines in the old days. Of course, it all changed under Lee Kuan Yew's successive regimes. They've got Orchard Road, and I have seen other than the Philippines and Thais, but I would agree the minority would be Malaysians and Singaporeans who are prostitutes in those areas, but they do exist. I wouldn't say rare. I've seen them quite regularly, but I wouldn't say as much as the Thai or the Filipinos. So I'd agree on that. But these days, you're even seeing Japanese and all sorts of people pop up, and even Japan, you see a lot of foreign women now who are in the prostitution. So it's prostitution. As I said, the stereotypes that prevail. I mean, if you think of Japan, you don't think of Western women going to Japan as prostitutes, but in fact, and we would include in the Western women, we'd include Russian women as well. They're not the general stereotype. I think the Asians get a raw deal. The general stereotype is they're going to be Asians. Well, of course, you're going to Asia, but out of those, I go back to my original thing. And it's a very simple analogy that you look at when people think of sex. I can assure you they only think of two places: Thailand, and probably number one, and then Philippines. And then they may start to look elsewhere, but it's not as prolific. It's in every country, including Australia, America, throughout the world, prostitution. But the stereotypes is what I'm talking about. And so when most men, when they go over there looking for women, they're based off stereotypes. That are supported by the Western media. So, and as opposed to actually going there, finding out firsthand what it's going to be like, and then forming their own opinions. And like it says in the article, there are a lot of myths floating around about Thai women, many of which are absolutely incorrect. The typical idea that Westerners have about Thai women is they're subservient. So let's deal with that one first. What do you think of that?
Well, hold on. So let's just catch up. So Dallas is saying, Archie, like you just did a dating video directed at rich Singaporean widows. I don't know. Did you catch that one? You haven't been watching Archie lately? And Chris B, good afternoon.
I haven't watched them lately. But they're definitely there.
Yeah, well, like I have to say the fact that, in my experience, obviously here in Thailand, of course, it's been limited now for my relationship with Chanya, but I see our friends and the interaction, the male-female interaction with friends, and the Thai women, they do wear the pants, but they'd wear it in a nice way. Does that make sense? There is that they do command a lot of respect in the company that I'm keeping, but they are the sweetest girls to talk to, and I'm talking about the girls and the ladyboys, right? They're the sort of girls you can have a conversation with, right? Even if they are single, they are open to a chat. They're not open. I'm not talking about prostitutes. They're not open to spreading their legs, but they're open to chat. You know what I mean? They're open to get to know people. Right, and
I've always had this feeling with Thai women that it's like, and I think some people may have had it too, that you almost feel like you've met them before. I don't know whether that's that feeling of sisterhood or something. I don't know what it is. It
is something. Well, this is what they call yellow fever, or what we call yellow fever. Is that you can walk up, like I can walk up to any girl in the shops, right? Now I'm not ugly, but I'm not Robert Redford either, but I can walk up to the girl and I can start a conversation, and I ask about this and ask about that, and I can quite easily move the conversation and where do you stay, and I could easily have those conversations, and I've done it, right? So we can show that one. I think that's a fairly good question. Robert Redford, that was the stud. That was a studly in my day when I was growing up. Okay, just leave me alone. Everybody talked about Robert Redford. He was
the blue eyes too. They love blue eyes.
But yeah, so I said I could if I wasn't with Chanya, I could do a slew of how to really meet and date regular girls and ladyboys here in Thailand, because what we are conditioned for in the West doesn't work over here, right? It is simple, and I think we covered in one of the videos. Chanya even said, all you got to do is just walk up to and just start a conversation, like, like if it's a chemist, you know. You want some headache tablets, some Panadol, that's a good, can I have some Panadol, paracetamol?
Invariably, they have a smile and they're willing to chat with you. But if it gets to you want a date, then they can sort of give a shy smile and either just with a little shake of the hand in front of their shy smile will tell you no.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between bar girls and normal Thai girls.
One less mosquito. But you can easily, what I'm getting at is the fact that just starting a conversation in Australia with an Australian reasonably attractive girl, it's like, it's just not on. You're either going to be placed in the friend zone, right?
Yeah.
Or you're not going to get the first base. Right, but she's going to really control the situation. Over here, getting to first base, getting to a conversational level, right, with a Thai is just so easy. As long as you smile and don't get sexual in the conversation, right? Polite thing, being polite. You're already at a disadvantage with the language. So you sort of like if you're in a chemist, I need some Tylenol. Tylenol's the brand of person.
Just interrupt for a second, Warren. More 10 says, I know some Korean women. They say they have a bigger sex industry in South Korea than in Thailand. It just doesn't get talked about like in Thailand. Well, that's my whole point.
Yeah, yes, it doesn't get talked about. Yes, I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have prostitutes here in Australia. It's rampant in America, but it just doesn't get talked about because it's less overt.
Right?
It's not. People don't say I'm going to America to visit the bar scene, but so there's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on. But nevertheless, Thailand doesn't do themselves any favors when it comes to building that stereotype.
Yeah. But getting back to the whole dating thing, of course, it is easy. You just find something that, I don't know, we're not conditioned to do it in Australia, find that find the thing, because they're automatically assuming you're going to get hit on if they're pretty. Over here, right, you walk up to a video rental store, a video store, a chemist, a clothing store, it's just so if you've got something in a size 36 waist, that starts the conversation. Keep the smile going, right? And then I sort of what's your name? Like we have the 4 lines in the bar scene. Flip it, right? Hi, what's your name? Where you stay? Where you come from? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It is a standard. It's inbuilt in the conversation. You flip the coin on that one. Those 3 will get you somewhere closer to first base, but you need the in. Like what size? What's I take size 36 waist. You have something in Levi 36 waist. If she's a pretty attendant there, and she'll find something for you. She'll smile and says, "No, what's your name?" If they got a badge on, they said, how do you pronounce that name? What's your nickname? Just get friendly with them. It's so easy, and again they're open to it, which is one of the things I don't think we really sort of focus on. It's not the bar scene. All the girls do it, and again, I think you're already an advantage because you're a foreigner.
Here, many people think that as long as you have a little money, you can have any Thai woman you want, but none of this is even close to factual. Thai women are no less independent than Western women, and most will not accept a role of total subservience to the man. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially those that choose to date foreigners. Contrary to popular belief, Thai women will not sleep with any man who has a few dollars in his pocket. I agree with that.
Yep.
Even the prostitutes have standards.
Yep, that's
Even the prostitutes, and in most cases, the punters are more desperate than the girls due to the law of supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's supply and demand is, I would suggest, getting less now with all the crackdowns. No pun intended.
Yep.
Crackdowns.
Crackdown. Ha ha. Crackdowns. Yeah. Choco, just because maybe in the Western world people don't smile doesn't mean other parts of the world women don't smile out of politeness. But yeah, sort of this Thai smile. That's what we call the Thai smile. That something is very infectious. It's part of their life.
I certainly don't think they're subservient.
No, no. This is another thing that's I think that's badly stereotyped. Yeah, they thinking a lot more steps ahead in the long term relationship department. And again,
People look at their traditions of being gentle and the whine each other and the smile, and they look at all that and they think that extends to every form of behaviour. It doesn't. They will get angry just like any other person.
Chris B saying, well, so Choco's sort of trying to figure out what the women are women. I'm not quite sure where he's going with that question as well. Women are women, yeah, genetically they're women across the world. But when we start to do the comparisons of the culture has a lot to do with that difference.
Shaping them. I mean, yeah, women are women simply means that, women should be equal everywhere, and if you strip away all the identities, women and men, or if we want to say people, they're all people at the end of the day. What we're talking about here is particular cultural traits that seem to be building these stereotypes and the stereotypes that people have. I mean, when I don't think if you're saying is either of us belittling women by saying women are women, well, I don't think that's what we're meaning. No.
Yeah. Well, that's I would have to conject against Chris B there. He's sort of saying that there's zero difference between women. It depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to find one for a date, this is the thing. The angle I'm coming from, Chris. I would strike out 9 times out of 10 asking an Australian girl on a date using exactly the same methodology that I use here in Thailand.
I'm going to get rid of Choco Warren. He's becoming a pain.
No, Choco's not. Choco's a ladyboy, thank you. It's all right.
Oh, is he? Oh, so yeah. Shit. Well,
shit.
Right. I'm just saying here. Well, just be careful of your comments. I mean,
yeah, just keep it above board. It's all right. We're not trying to fight each other. It's all right. I know Choco.
Because men got a dick, then you think you're more superior. We're not having an argument over here between the genders.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you try, then that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been a regular. It's just that she's taking offence to the women are women. And again, I'm also sort of conjecting this to say no, the women are different, country to country based on culture.
Let's keep it civil though.
Yeah, just keep it civil. I don't mind, what they call conjecture. This is the whole idea. This is where we want to go with this whole live streaming thing. Is everybody's opinion's valid as long as we keep it above the line. And don't take personal opinion. We attack ideas. We don't attack people. Does that make sense? And the idea here is being attacked, but it can easily attack the person if you're not in agreement.
We're simply reading an article, so so it goes on to say that there are a lot of myths floating around. Blah blah blah. You will come across older men with beautiful young girls, and clearly this will be related to money. However, again, that's a stereotype too. They're all stereotypes. However, it's one that I possibly agree with because this is a stereotype that's been perpetuated in society. The only way an old man can have a beautiful girlfriend if he's got lots of money. Nobody knows. What have you met every old man? Have you met every girl with it? I use the old.
The cataloguing boxes are too big.
It's one stereotype after another, and the ageism goes on. Where there's a standard thing that old men are all the pervs. The only way that they can have a nice woman is if they have money, and there's no factual information. It's just a stereotype that's been enculturated in people. However, if you're a fat slob, so here we go again. However, if you're a fat slob with a dirty t-shirt, most of the girls will pay no attention to you. Again, another stereotype. Yes, it makes sense, but we don't know that for sure. I mean, if you've got money and you're in a bar, fat slob or not, trust me, they'll go with you. Most often than not, the punters and the women are evenly matched. The most class and style the man has, the better the woman he will end up with. Well, again, this is opinion. We don't know. I suggest that if you're in a bar area, they're only after your money, but that could be my opinion. This is true within all levels of society, whether you're talking about bar girls, universities. Well, again, I disagree with that. I don't think that's true in all levels. I think there's a distinction to be made between bar girls and other people who in other social areas in society. I mean, yes, most women like you to be clean and well dressed. That goes without saying. But in a bar, you can probably get a get out of jail free card, because if you've got money, it cancels out a lot of these things, you know.
Yeah, it gets you closer to first base. And again,
Yes.
you know, bar girls, they're a little bit more promiscuous, you know, with their body. You know, they have in my opinion, they have like a wall, right? The body is just the body, right? You're not buying the heart, you're not buying the mind. Whereas, you know, outside that scene, the body is the temple, you know, and you're not going to get through the temple doors without ticking all the boxes, if you know what I mean, you know.
Well, this
Is that a nice way to say it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, here they've got this guy's just his opinion. So he mentions what are the pros. So the first pro that he mentions is freedom. Thai women do not try to run your life. Well, again, it depends. They expect you to do what... So he's contradicted himself here. He said, Thai women do not try to run your life. They expect you to do what you want to do when you... Oh, no, it's okay. It isn't a problem that you want to go out with the boys, watch the game, or even have a big poker night. Well, do you want to talk on that, Warren?
Well, that's it.
It's not a problem. It can be a problem.
Chanya goes out and does her poker nights. Since last night, she was at the salon again last night. She slept at the salon because she had another 4 o'clock in the morning makeup job to do. You know, but, you know, when I go out on every 2 weeks, when I go out on my night out with the boys, well, you know, in the group, you know, she says her words, but, you know, it's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. You know, she does her poker nights, you know, and I've sort of said, well, you know, I've played poker, but I don't play Thai poker. I think they have got weird rules. I don't know how their game's played. I've watched them play it, and they're going, no, I can't follow this game, whatever it's going.
Yeah.
You know, it's not 5 style. It's not draw poker. It's not, you know, it's not. You get the idea. It's not any of the standard, you know, Vegas games. It's something that Thailand has invented. Just like their chess. I've watched them play chess, and it loses me how they play chess. Really. It's again. It's like.
Do you agree though, as a generalisation, that Thai women do not try and run your life? I think they do in some instances, a lot of times.
Well, she likes to. She likes to make sure there's a communication about what we're doing, right? One part, and she's quite often said it. It's, you know, it's more about, she just worries the fact that even after 10 years, she worries the fact that, am I going to get myself into trouble? Like, am I going to have a car accident? Am I going to have, you know, get stuck somewhere? Am I going to find it hard to get home? You know, she knows that I do come home, and I always come home, but she just worries about it, you know. And like I worry about when she's, you know, goes out on a poker night, she's coming home at 5 o'clock in the morning. It worries me too. You know, we worry about each other. I think that's what they call love. You know, you're worried about your partner, you know, having a good time, or, you know, coming a cropper with. You know, like, life is so random sometimes. But yeah, she doesn't try to control my life. That's the thing. I don't get a control level.
Yeah, they do. I mean, the one that you can look at is try playing around on a Thai woman and see how much freedom you have then.
Oh yeah, exactly. And we're going to get onto that subject. Yes.
That's any woman, you know.
Yeah.
So just to say, make a blanket statement: Thai women do not run your life. They expect you to do what you want to do. That's not true.
Yeah. No, that's right. You know, up to you. That typical answer, up to you. When you get the up to you, it's just that's really you can read between the lines, and it's not in their thinking as a good idea.
Yes.
You got to learn that vernacular.
The little signals.
The little signals, you know. So up to you.
Take the relationship. Yeah. I mean, but just to say that they, you know, he's sort of contradicting himself here. This person, I think. Anyway, he goes on to sex. Many Western men complain that after getting married, their sex life disappears. Western women have a horrible reputation for withholding sex from their partners, or again, all generalisations.
Very general.
This simply doesn't exist. This doesn't exist in Thailand. Oh, really? It doesn't exist.
I think he's led a
Wow,
sheltered
that's
lifestyle.
interesting.
Who is this guy? What's his name?
Yeah, but, I don't know.
Travel in Asia.
One sort of self-appointed expert. But the point is,
He doesn't even have a name, so there you go. So he calls himself Travel in Asia, but
yeah, yeah. But it was just one article, so it's just a thing. But
Yeah.
I mean, I still come back to that one thing that all people are the same to most of the degree. We all feel, we all bleed, we all get angry, we all get happy. So these are stereotypes that are attached to cultural tags, and then suddenly this is what they are. It was total bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
as soon as I hear somebody say everyone or all Thai women, then I know it's bullshit. This simply does not exist in Thailand, perhaps because Thai women know there are millions of other women out there, so he's just guessing,
Yeah.
that are happy to accommodate. And any withholding of sex would be counterproductive and may result in leading their men astray. It's fucking shit, I think.
Yeah. Well, now Billy Boon Tum, whatever weird name. He's come up there. Sort of, when you get married, your life is over. Look, it's a generalisation there. I'd have to agree in one sense. Yes, your life is over because marriage is a partnership, and if you're not focusing on the partnership, then you're not in a marriage to start with, right? A marriage or even a relationship. It's a partnership, no matter which way you do it. And of course, partnerships have to be done differently to an individual lifestyle. So yes, I would agree with you. But again, the stereotype of when you get married, your life is over. I'd have to again completely deny that statement. Your life never started, or your life's starting now, right? This is the genetic part of our makeup as a genus in the grand scheme of things, right? You don't, a single guy on a frickin', deserted island, right? Your life's going to be pretty much over, and there's nothing following. That's it.
I've known Thai women to withdraw sex, especially when I don't have 1,000 baht note in my hand.
Well, not going to go there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fucking true. I mean,
that's
like,
it.
if you're in the bar areas and you've got no money, you're just relying on your good looks. They might still go with you if you're a really young, sexy bloke, because that seems to be a bit of a trend now. That if a girl's working in the bar and she just finds you hot and sexy and you're young and you're good looking, you probably will be able to get them without paying. You hear a lot of young men boast about that, but she will eventually expect something.
Yep. G'day, Bossanova. How are you?
Some do you quickly and some do you slowly.
Yep. Like I've friends of mine. I'm not going to use names. Friends of mine have sort of said that they've gone to the bar scenes and they've actually, although the girls at the bar don't do this, but with some people they will. They will give you their line address, and you'll connect with them online, and then you contact them outside their working hours, and you can avoid bar fines and all sorts of things, right? And some of them will partner up with you and go and do things as long as you pay their way, right? They still have to work, right? If they don't work, then of course their jobs can be forfeited to somewhere else. So there might be you need to front up with the bar fine for that. If you want to have 2 days with them, you might have to give them the bar fine to cover their loss of wages, because the fact that unless of course the bar fine's paid, and that job or that position at that bar can disappear pretty much overnight. But as I said, some of these girls, if they like you, they will give you their line address, and you can contact them and say, and they just say, call me tomorrow, tomorrow at 9, and let's go and do something if you've done it right. And then you can spend the whole day with them, as long as you're buying them a dress, buying them food, you're treating them like a woman. You're not actually paying them cash, but you're paying them in goods and that sort of thing. They will quite happily sort of be with you for that whole day, and you're going to have an enjoyable time. I don't know what parlour.
And yeah, fucking fair enough. Right,
No,
so we talked about freedom and sex.
Yeah.
Now beauty. Thai women are well renowned for being incredibly beautiful, with a petite figure and an exotic look. They also, again, this could be a stereotype, they also tend to take better care of themselves, and they age well. you don't see Thai women getting married and gaining incredible amounts of weight or letting themselves go. Well, actually, I disagree again. You do see that. You do
Well, you
see
do. Like
Thai women.
the three girls here, right? Mother, boy, and Bomb. Now they're lovely girls and they've got lovely personalities, and I love talking to them. We do talk. We don't have deep and meaningful conversations, but they're just great girls to talk to. They're all single. Their men have all left them, and I think always she's got children, so she's still a caregiver. Bomb, she's never had children, but they're just lovely girls. But they are overweight. They love their food. Well, what can I say? And they sit down a lot,
And more so these days with the Western influence over so many decades, you're seeing lots of fat Thai women.
Yeah.
More than I ever have before. So I disagree with that. I mean, everything we are saying are stereotypes, but it's just opinion.
Yeah.
So they all indicate better care of themselves. And I've seen beautiful Singaporean women and beautiful Japanese women, and they age well and they take care of themselves. And I've also seen Western women who take extremely good care of themselves. So even to say in general that they age better, look, I've seen there's ugly ones and there's good looking ones. There's ones that look like they've been chasing parked cars, and there's others that are blessed with the pretty stick. I mean, there's all of these are stereotypes again.
Yeah.
But as I said, that's that image we have that all these Thai or Asian beauties have this incredible beauty, and they've all got petite figures and exotic looks. There's a lot of frumpy looking, ordinary looking women there.
Now that I'm catching the buses a lot, a lot of the frumpy women do get on the bus, and I have to say they're frumpy. But again, you look at their face, and they've got a very pretty face, but it's like they haven't taken care of their body. I don't know whether it's just, again, too much Western food in their diet in the last 10, 15 years that's causing this. But, you get as I said, the ones going to school, and, you get the pretty ones, and their best friend is, she's a size 12, You never used to see size 12s, 15 years ago here in Thailand.
Yeah.
But now you do.
Generally speaking, they're not going to put ugly women up on posters.
Yeah.
And so we see all the beautiful women, and then we say, all Thai women are beautiful. It's simply not true.
No, well, there is that. There's that. But again, the ones that aren't beautiful, they still are lovely people to talk to. In my case, I've met quite a few of them, and through association.
No, I'm not talking about not talking about character, of course, but what I say, people have this thing that every Thai woman is gorgeous. It's just not true. Well, it depends what your definition of beauty is. And then we've got reconciliation. It doesn't matter how big or of a fight you have with your Thai girlfriend. It almost always seems that they're totally forgotten within a few short hours. Bullshit. They don't tend to stew. They don't tend to stew on an issue for days. Is they kidding, this guy?
I think he is.
Reconciliation after a fight seems to be much more simple in Thailand. Oh, you've got to be kidding.
Let's scrolling back on the thing. Chris B, my wife happens to be Thai, drives me mad as much as drives her mad. She doesn't clean and cook all the time. We both do, yes, so it's a partnership, which is great to hear. She doesn't work because she's looking after her 2-year-old. That's again, it's nice when you can afford to do that. I know when we had our child, my wife, she stayed at home for the first 4 years, but then she started looking for work. And then I think it just fell apart because she just really didn't want to do the work that was necessary. She enjoyed too much of the staying at home lifestyle, which was pretty much the downfall of our sort of relationship, because the fact that it was always me. We talk about this thing again in cost wise. You're always paying. You're always paying for if there's no money, there's no honey. This is a typical stereotype as well. Seriously, my relationship in Australia was just like that, but it's a lot harder to get out of the relationship if that became the situation. No money, no honey. Well, I had no money, but, had no honey as well, because, the paying the bills was just a never-ending task. not sort of talking about the sexual side, but just the honey, just the fun in the work, the fun in a relationship seemed to go out the door because the bills kept on mounting up. Now, okay, I pay for everything here, pretty much, well, apart from a few odds and ends. I pay for the rent here. I pay the car maintenance fees. I pay for the electricity. What else do I pay for? I buy her food, and buy her clothing, because I like my girl,
Sex, pay for sex.
Not going there. I pay for food and clothing. It's the same thing, Right, but that's all I pay for. I don't give money out. There's no money changing hands, but I'm still paying. That's what I'm getting. I'm still paying like I did in Australia, but I'm paying a lot less to have a much more enjoyable lifestyle as a partnership. And again, there's no strings attached. If push come to shove or immigration kicked me out because of some bloody new rule or whatever, I would be heartbroken, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. I can still continue my life and I'd be single again. Would I come back to Thailand? Probably not. If I got kicked out because they won't let me in, but what would I do? It'd be a heartbreaking situation. I don't ever wish it on myself, but again, we're just guests here, and the shit that's going on at the moment. It's one of those things.
Otherness has been emphasised really deeply now at this point in time in Thailand. The one consoling thing that I always know about Thailand is that any laws they say they're going to introduce or anything they say they do, often they don't get done, or they're done in just episodic, fashion. They don't stay. They don't really. They haven't really got due diligence in following up even their own laws.
Yeah,
right? They just throw them out there. So sometimes you can take some of what they say with a pinch of salt because it changes from week to week. And that's the biggest danger, is the inconsistency of Thai law. You just never know, especially in immigration. You just never know what's going to happen. And so often the things they come out with are also, they don't tell you the reasoning behind it. Like when they're doing these immigration changes, often they're targeting illegal workers. And those illegal workers are not just foreigners. They might be just to control the Burmese, the Lao, the people who cover the borders, and that they're just trying to get them under control. We have to accept that the immigration is a one rule fits all, right? And that nobody's getting any special compensation. People take it. People interpret it personally.
Yeah.
And my experience in Thailand, a lot of the time, these things are not as potent as people make them.
Yeah. So anyway, we're getting reconciliation. So femininity, I think that was the next one on your list, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we said reconciliation. I mean, I've seen. If you think cutting your penis off is having. That they've totally forgotten. Well,
which is this article here we've got, to talk about this.
Penis cut off. You certainly realise that reconciliation is not big on their list.
We'll get to that one. We'll get to that article when we finish this one.
Yes, just to make a reference to it now, because that's why I laughed at reconciliation. I mean, but again, it's a generalisation on my part too. But just in what I've seen, especially in the bar scenes, because that's when most tourists go for women, right? Because it's just easily accessible. You're not going to go around canvassing 7-Eleven shops and, Big W looking for a girlfriend on your first time in Thailand. Let's be honest. You're going to go to where they are. As I said earlier, you're probably not thinking of getting married in long-term relationships when you're just going there on a holiday. If you are, well, that's your fault. Now,
good morning, Jade. Good afternoon, Jade. Yes, so I've known Jade now for close on 15 years, I think. She's a lady boy in Australia. She's a lovely girl. She's got a few screws loose, but I think most lady boys have got a few screws loose. She's probably got about the same amount of screws loose as Chanya, but Jade's also a muso. She has to lose a few more screws to put up with that lifestyle. But yes, I've known Jade for a lovely. She's one of the lovely lady boys that I've met in Australia.
Musos are interesting people.
Yeah.
Different approach on life. Right.
Most people are fuckwits. That's it. Yeah. It's interesting. I
I
didn't.
do agree with the next one. Femininity. Thai women may not be subservient, so he's contradicted himself. Thai women may not be subservient, but they do embrace a role of being caretaker at home. I agree with that. Laundry, dishes, cooking and cleaning. Without, well, I wouldn't say without any complaints, but they do embrace that role. They dress and act like ladies. Well, debatable. And they put a lot of time and effort into appearance. Well, it depends again. And overall, I would say they have better personal hygiene than Western women. Again, that's debatable. But one thing I do agree with is they do embrace the role of being a caretaker at home.
Yeah, I would agree mostly with that as well. From what I've sort of seen, but again, I'm living in the suburban area outside the central business district, and there is that difference. There is a different culture between the two.
They said most people are fuckwits.
Yeah, I know. I just said that. Yes.
I resemble that remark.
You resemble that remark, do you, Yogi?
Most people are fuckwits. Yeah, well, okay. That's not a generalisation.
I don't know why I didn't. I mustn't have that word in my band list. Or maybe she's a moderator, so she doesn't get the band words.
Jade, the way Jade says it makes it more funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am a lot happier here than I was in Australia, because basically, as a couple in Australia or as a family in Australia, just putting enough money together to make ends meet as a single wage earner, even in my job, was a challenge. Right, and basically you are feeling like you're living paycheck to paycheck. Of course, when we split up, well, in that 8 years that I split up, I had sort of 3 months' salary in the bank, right?
Yeah.
That's what I managed to save outside the relationship, But again, she didn't have a job. Well, she did. She did what they call piecemeal jobs. She was a part of an agency that did house cleaning and things like that, which is something she liked doing. But it was only bringing in about $200 to $300, probably $200 a week at the most. So again, it was barely covering her expenditure. And she was smoking cigarettes. So even
Would
back
you
then.
say that Thai women or Asian women generally are more effeminate? I would say they are.
I think they act more feminine. I think we've had too much of this. What was that feminist movement?
Feminazity.
Greer, wasn't her name? What's her name? Was Greer? Wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Greer. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She started a sort of a movement, which again has sort of become neoliberalised as well. But
there's often this thing that Thai women, once you take them back to your country, then they just get acculturated to what all the Western women do and become bitches.
Yeah.
Look, I definitely think they are more feminine looking because of most of the time they're more petite, etc. I think, I've seen an Asian woman throw a tea towel over her head and they look sexy. I mean, they can look sexy. They can look sexy with a singlet, whereas you get the frumpy, not all again, of course, frumpy, big Western ass silver belly. No, these aren't stereotypes, are they? But when you get the big silver belly, it's much harder for them to get themselves ready.
Yeah.
It's like, as I said, Thai women or Asian women generally, I used to go out with Singaporean women. She used to just throw a singlet on and a top, and the clothes themselves probably cost $3, but they can make it look magical. Whereas a lot of Western women, because they're bigger frames, not least their bigger fucking heads, can't pull it off. They can't pull it off. But again, that could be another stereotype. Don't know, but that's what I've seen and felt. I think whether they're cleaner, look, I have to say that me personally, I've felt them to smell cleaner during sex. I've never had any problems with that. Sometimes sometimes the food seems to come out of their pores and they smell a little bit. Depending on if you're not used to that smell, there's a particular smell that if they eat very strong seafood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But generally, Thai women, I find them to be more feminine. So I would agree with this. Definitely seem to be more. They do all the duties in the house, like the cleaning, the cooking, the dishes. whether they act like ladies, but they're definitely more effeminate. I would say they're much.
Yeah.
Their hygiene, that's debatable about their hygiene, but you do see a lot of, when I see Western women and you see them in juxtaposed with Asian women, you do see a lot of the Western women, not all of them, but they look frumpy, they look dishevelled, their hair's a mess, their clothing is really, they just don't seem, from my personal point of view, to be as sexy.
Anyway, so g'day, William. Nice of you to join us this afternoon. Yeah, I'm glad you liked that the pool time. I need to do more of that sort of video, and get more people. It's sort of that one has a potential to go viral if it ever just clicked the right things on the YouTube algorithms. But a lot of people said that they loved the video, just the music track I put with the pool fun and all that sort of stuff. That was another Fat Rag track, by the way, another one out of his library. Jade agrees, an idiot. I have to agree with you. She's a silly old boot, yeah. Was it feminism turned into a man-hating thing? I can't agree with you anymore with that, boss. Yeah. It's just like the whole thing's just gone ass about face. And again, maybe this is why Islam is is taking off, because the fact that the feminist movement, they've made women, they've made men hate women to the point that they become misogynistic, and it fits right into that particular spiritual sort of undertow.
Yeah, and it's particularly prevalent in America, where it's always women's rights and women's feelings, and men are just walking on eggshells all the time. I don't think that's a fallacy. I think that's actually, you see that all the time, that they're playing victim all the time, and it's all about them, entitlement, and men are just literally saying fuck this, and they're going overseas to where they believe that women are more subservient, and they believe that they'll be treated better. And in some cases it's true, in some cases it's not. You don't always find the Shangri-La you're looking for, but
well, again, getting back to the fact you won't find that Shangri-La on a bar stool. You've got to have to play the field. You're gonna have to find the right one. You're gonna have to learn the culture, learn the idiosyncrasies of the relationship. You're gonna have to learn to be, accepted, as much as you can be accepted here in Thailand, and I guess that would be in the Philippines as well. I think there's a lot more acceptance in the Philippines of Westerners, specifically because of the fact that it's had such a much more Western influence.
We talk about cultural divides, we talk about class divides.
Yeah.
Well, now I think there is a gender divide in the West. There's definitely a gender divide in the West, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think
and
Jade was saying
no support for men.
Yeah, Jad was also saying that Greer's even anti ladyboy as well, if they don't agree with her. I can't remember where I just saw that come through.
She's anti-self if she doesn't agree with herself.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, she's just one of those polemics, bloody controversial for the sake of being controversial. She's a man-hater, really. I mean, she looks like a man. I don't know why she hates her so much.
Yep, William Poole. Western women are more demanding and don't appreciate what they have in general. Again, because they keep on looking. They live vicariously through all their soap operas, and what I don't know, all that sort of stuff. I think the worst thing ever happened to our society is TV. But anyway.
Oh yeah, well, as I said, it's what all this is about. This bloke's opinions. We're just talking about what you personally agree with. Now, availability. There's no shortage of available young Thai women that are looking to meet their Prince Charming. Perhaps because, here we go, there are large percentages of Thai men that are gay or transsexual. Huh?
Well, again, this is on a very, very narrow front that he's looking at. Yes, there are gay men here. There are transsexuals here. But statistically speaking, I did read a statistic report from 2015. There was actually more LGBT people in America than it was in Thailand. I think 0.7% of the American population fit into the LGBT group, whereas it's actually less in here in Thailand. But again, statistics are a very hard thing to sort of line up the methods of collecting the data across each population density. Is very difficult to sort of get what they call a mean average. But look, Thai men can look effeminate without trying. Is
that a fact that large percentages of Thai men are gay or transsexual? Is that
I haven't met, I've met by population density.
I hope so. I hope it is true personally.
Well, I've met more gay men here. I've met more gay men here, but Sydney has a population density of 3 million, and Bangkok has a minimum population density of 8 million. On that ratio, I think it's about the same, right? But also, I'm also in that community, so I do meet more than the average person. What I was to say is, right, Thai men are more effeminate, right? And we've got some other external influences here, which can flip the chart. Like basically, one of the things that does happen over here is an effeminate-looking male coming up to the age of 20 will actually elect to probably go on hormones to actually grow a set of breasts rather than a set of balls and be elected into the fucking army, right? Because they so I'm a bit too frank here, but it does happen. They will transit. They will go through transition simply to avoid conscription.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that. Yeah.
And then after they are no longer taken for conscription, I think that there's a window of 2 years or something, and they become too old. They no longer get taken in. Then they'll actually go off hormones and they'll go back to being a male. But they were.
I was thinking of getting a sex change to be more accepted in the West.
Is that right? But yes, so Thai men are effeminate, and it doesn't take much. And you can sort of see a lot of them will do drag, but they will be they're heterosexual drags. So they're not interested in gay relationships at all. They like to dress up, right, and play that part. And I've sort of seen it, everywhere. They do it because of the fact that there's money in it. The vocational opportunities for Thai men. They said B still hasn't got a freaking job after being back here for 2 years, right? His girlfriend does, so his girlfriend's now sort of paying his way. Right? The guy's just completely anti-work for some reason because he's had a taste of the West and it won't lower his standards to take a Thai salary. But as I said, effeminate men, they can quite easily put the makeup on and put the fake breasts on and all the paraphernalia for a cabaret, and they actually can make a good living on that. They're not gay. They're just what they call they're cross-dressing, but their regular life is not gay. Yeah.
The Sound of Music.
Well, that's it. They just make money doing it. That's it.
All right, next one, approachability.
Approachability.
If you walk up to a Thai woman, smile at her and tell her she is beautiful. Here we go, another stereotype.
Actually, hold on, just on the availability. The other thing that caught me on that, the Prince Charming. So there's no shortage of available Thai women looking to meet their Prince Charming. This is where it falls down for the West because the percentage of males coming over here who, quite frankly, are fucking not good looking. They're fucking, overweight.
Hey, speak for yourself. I'm good looking.
You're good looking, but you're also you're big stature as well. They're scared of you. Seriously, the girls are scared of you. Like you said,
you're probably right.
If you can't hold yourself above them in the missionary position, right, they are going to suffocate, right?
Well, that's true everywhere, really.
But yeah, there. Thai women.
Your best height to be is about 5'9", 5'10", because they can relate better. Anything over 6 foot.
The Prince Charming thing. You have to be in that Prince Charming sort of category. You have to be a nice guy, right?
They say they like big, tall men, but that's not true. I find women like men who are closer to their own size. So that's my opinion.
Anyway, approachability. That's the next one.
If you walk up to a Thai woman, smile at her and tell her she's beautiful, she will never give you a rude reply. Well, never. It's bullshit straight away. Yeah. They do give you rude replies if you don't have a 1,000 baht note in your mouth. She might not be interested, but she's going to shut you down. She will do it politely with a little class. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot more than I can say about Western women. Well, I do think they're more approachable.
Yeah, I'd have to. This is the thing about Thai women. Yes, I'd have to totally agree with that. There, you can walk up to them. You can have a general conversation. If you're coming into the conversation, I want to fuck you, right? They can read that on you, right, and they will shut you down pretty quick. Right,
they're correct. I do want to fuck them.
Well, that's it. And again, unless of course you're fronting up with the 2,000 baht, then they're not going to talk to you, and that's it.
That's exactly right.
But
that's a harsh reality.
But yeah, they are definitely approachable. I'm talking about the regular girls in the working class, in the shops and marketplaces and the places where you see regular girls, right?
Would you agree that if you did approach women the way you do in Thailand, and you did that in the West, do you think you'd have a lot of issues if you did?
I'd strike out pretty much 90% of the time.
And you get in serious trouble too.
Yeah, and you can. I've heard it in America. They can have you up for harassment, in certain circumstances.
Oh yeah, and all of a sudden you've raped them, and so we won't go there, But what I'm saying is, even in the workplace and stuff like that now, in the West, men are treading on eggshells.
Mm-hmm.
But when we approach women in Thailand, we have to remember that a lot of the time we're in tourist mode, right? And so sometimes we overstep the mark. We just think that, and Thai women, I think, do get offended by that we just think everybody's available.
Mm.
And that it sort of crushes that little bit of mystery that you can have between, if every Western man thinks they're God's gift, or because they've got a lot of money, that somehow they can approach anyone, anytime, everywhere, then I think that's the problem. That's the issue, because I don't think that's true. And Thai women just saying, hey, listen, you got to do a bit more than that, buddy. We're not just going to come, all right, how much did you say? 3,000? All right, I will then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's not the case with women outside the bar. It's like everywhere. They expect you to be, a little bit humble, but obviously being humble and being shy is not going to get you a partner. You've got to step it up. You've got to be active, proactive. They're not going to come running to you like we often think. You will sit there all day by yourself if you don't make a move. It's the same as everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, but
unless
they expect that's the thing. There is a chauvinistic aspect, a chivalry aspect. It is the guy has to make the first move.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the thing, and over here, holding the door open and, opening a car door, it goes a long way. Over in Australia, it's just you get slapped in the face, you do it in Australia,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's to put it mildly, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, look, that's why this approachability thing is as I said, gone are the days where you can just have, cheeky conversations with women. What do they call it? Just sort of sweet talking them and just sort of, just having a bit of a laugh. You can't do that anymore in the West. It's gone. Those days are absolutely gone. You're more likely to see a frown now than a smile.
Yeah.
But,
I was looking at Jade's comment there. I used to work as a dominatrix in both Melbourne and Sydney, and so many men didn't want to pay my high prices. Because so many Asian girls were so cheap, but they wanted a white mistress for the cheap, So again, the money's to the side.
She says it shouldn't be illegal, honestly. Though there's nothing more unsexy and revolting than a woof whistle. Don't know why people do it, as it never achieves a bonk.
Yeah, you got to know Jade. She likes that. She's a straight talker. That's for certain.
Oh shit, yeah, sure. She's very direct. Well, as I said, yeah. Look, I mean, it's what we were getting back to earlier about approachability. I mean, if you just think every woman is a sex object and that you're God's gift to them, then it's the same in Thailand too. Eventually, they're going to be put off by it. They want a bit of mystery, a bit of charm too, and they want to be treated like a lady.
Mm-hmm.
And with that old, but sort of that old practice of treating women like a lady has been damaged by all the shit that's happening in the West. we don't wear it. A lot of men are angry now. They don't want to treat them like ladies anymore. They say, "Fuck it, you want to be a feminist bitch? Then I'm going to treat you like I treat anybody else."
Yep, and
so a lot of men are losing the capacity to feel empathy for a woman and to actually hold the door open anymore and to pull a chair out, to be very conscious of their other half. They're just saying, "Fuck it, you do, you carry the shopping now."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it's just the way it is. Society managed to get to where it was, over 10,000 years, and all of a sudden in the last 50, it's just gone completely freaking arse up. Not because of any particular one thing, but just particularly because of about everything just gone wrong.
Right, we're on to cons.
We're on to cons, are we?
The cons of dating Thai women. Guess what number one would be? Are you looking at the article?
No, I've got it up there on screen, yeah.
Okay, well, it's money. It doesn't matter whether she is a bar girl or a well-to-do Thai girl. Oh, this is getting controversial. She is sure to demand a constant supply. Well, I'm going to say, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree?
There is the necessities to live. Yes, if
you agree or disagree.
Well, I can't sort of say
agree
black. I can't give a black or white on that one.
I'm going to go agree.
I have to agree in the fact that life doesn't go on. You can't have a lifestyle here, right, with a female without money, right? But you can't do that in the West either.
That's true.
Right, so it's not the right question. It's not the right point to make. Right, money is the driving factor around the world. Right,
can't live off love. They can't live off love alone.
Well, you can try, but you soon starve to death.
And I think there's a small group of men who go over there as sort of hippies, just trying to have a free date or a free ride, if you will.
Yeah.
And just saying, "Oh well, I'm buying her food and she's staying in my hotel," as if that is payment enough. And they, as I said, they can't live off love alone, as they will tell you. So yeah.
But again, to put the classification, it's Thai women. No, it's everywhere, right? The money needs to flow because life needs the money to flow, right?
Try losing your job at home and see how pleasant life is.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So if you lose your job at home, you're more than likely to find yourself in front of the lawyer where she takes the whole house, right?
And not just women, it's just general society in general.
That's just the way it is.
If you haven't got money these days, nowadays you are compelled to work and compelled to be self-sufficient.
But again, the con, obviously flipping that, right, the one thing that is evident is the fact that constant supply of money is going to be a lot less than what it would be to have equivalent lifestyle in Australia or America or England.
Unless you're a dildo and you buy tens of thousands of baht worth of gold and you shower them in ridiculous gifts on a continuous basis. It's amazing what some men from certain parts will do in terms of money, how quickly they spend it on them and how much they spend it on them. It's just quite staggering. And, as I said, it's really, if you go over there acting like Rockefeller, then they'll expect it, and you're not making it easy for the other men too.
An example, look, I said, I'm not in a relationship with Chanya's mother. Mother lives here, right? She has her boyfriends come out, and they have a relationship, with the boyfriend, the geek. But like I bought mother a Samsung phone 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I think it was. Right, that phone's pretty much clapped out. I'm going to buy her another phone this Christmas for her Christmas present. So I'm looking at getting her Realme 5. It's about 6,000 baht. Do I have to do it? No, I don't have to do it. Why do I do it? Because I like her company here. I like the fact that she does what she does. She takes care of the food. She cleans. She's, for want of a better word, she's a housekeeper. And it's just a perfect situation,
I'm just laughing at Jade Starr's comments.
But so money. So if I didn't have money, I couldn't buy the phone, right? But again, if I didn't buy the phone, it's not like mother's going to go anywhere. I'm still putting a roof over her head, and she still enjoys the company and everything else that we provide here. So it's a hard one to sort of say, only Thailand this is a situation. So yes,
Thanks,
I agree with it.
Thanks to the banking cartels who run this shitty system.
Yeah, I know.
Ironically, the banks are the brokers pricks on the planet. Fuck, well, I don't know about the brokers, but I mean, I know President of Westpac Bank, she earns millions a year for a salary. The 1%ers are growing, that's for sure. Anyway, that's another subject.
That's another subject. Yeah, okay, moving on.
Laughing.
Point number 2.
Family, another family. When you shack up with a Thai girl, that's an old-fashioned term, when you shack up with a Thai girl, it isn't just her problems that you inherit, but those of her entire family. Ooh, she will put her family first always, that's true enough.
Mm-hmm.
And your relationship will take a backseat when there is something going on with the family. Well, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I have to agree with it, but you are marrying into a family unit. So this is something that I think the West has really lost, is the family structure, the family unit. Like as I said, my family broke up when I was 19 years old.
Very common.
We
don't look after our elderly as well as we should.
And like my brother was 8 years younger than me, so I was 19, so he was 13. He was put into foster care. And my brother was put into foster care because my mother and father broke up, and they divorced.
That's very sad.
And it took me 12 months to actually convince the authorities the fact that, no, I will look after my brother. He's my brother. He's my kin. Right?
Very commendable, Warren. Very commendable.
And
that's a very sad story.
It is a sad story, and I brought him in and put him under my roof. Of course, here's me. I'm sort of, into all sorts of nefarious activities. It's obviously not the right environment for then a 14-year-old. But then, of course,
nefarious activities. You say it like it's a virtue.
It's my lifestyle, but it was better than it was better than it's real life. It's family as a it's family. Family is family. The point I'm making is a family. When you're coming here to Thailand, family is very solid. In Australia, family is like an afterthought.
You couldn't bring him into your dodgy world, is what you're saying.
Well, I brought him in, but then of course I managed to sort of bring father back into the fold as well. So the 3 guys, we were living in our house again, right? So that took 2 years to get it to come about. But yeah, it was a job. It was an exercise, but it made it happen. At least things moved forward, right? In my mind, they were the best that we could manage, for want of a better word, in that lifestyle. But yeah,
it can be a positive too. It doesn't have to be a con. It doesn't have to be a con. The fact that she puts her family first, that can be a positive thing.
Yeah, because you
can say more about the girl.
I have no doubt. Over the years, the ensuing years that I'm looking forward to, I will also be looked after the same way as family, right? And again, so we don't hear many of these long-term things because the way things happen here in Thailand. But I do know Thai foreigners here that have been here for a long period of time, and they're now in their very senior years, and they are being looked after by the Thai family, right?
And a lot of bar girls are in the bar before their Thai families.
Mm-hmm. That's
another thing that's often forgotten.
Yeah. And again, it's there's too many people putting too many things into too many sort of broad boxes. I think the problem we face with real society is we live vicariously through the videos people watch on YouTube and through the.
We stereotype, and then that becomes prejudice. We compartmentalise because it's too big for us to sit down and discuss like adults.
Yeah.
So we find it easier to label people so that we can better understand it and then move on with our lives. It's all about selfishness.
Yeah, and again, I quite often make reference to the Robert A. Johnson book, Owning Your Own Shadow. Once you identify your shadow, identify, embrace it, who are you really, right, then that's when you can start to move forward and you can start to become a little bit more positive, a little bit distance from the mainstream society, because you realise the fact that I am who I am because of every one of those events that's happened in my life up until this point in time, right? I think too many people live their life going through all these bad points in their life, and it just becomes that muddy water that they never think that they can do better. What you need to do is you just need to stop and to say what's happened has happened. That has made you who you are. Do you like who you are? Right? What do you want to change? Right? Well, it starts now. Now you need to
Hello?
change. Yep, still here.
Oh, hi, Mum.
Oh, okay. His mum's come in.
Yes, I do. His phone number is 0447.
I'll just mute that so we don't get the phone number. Okay, you back?
Just hold on a sec.
Okay. Anyway, so where was up to family? So yeah, getting back to the thing. Yes, hate labels so much that these days, yeah, this labelling it's a pastime. It's almost like an art form now. Gender dysphoria. That's the general banner for for transgender, right? How many sort of subcategories have we got on that one now? Oh my God. But yeah, they needed a label, didn't they? Well, it's just transgender. We had a label, transgender. Now it becomes a psychological problem and has to be treated. What the? Anyway, yeah. So getting back to point two, yeah, the family. You are going to inherit the family, but whether that's a con, I personally feel that's a pro. If you are that sort of person that enjoys family or haven't really had family for 20 to 30 years, then you are going to enjoy it. I think family is one of the most magical things about lifestyle. But again, maybe I just have different ways of looking at life. Number three, trust. Some people will say that you should never trust a woman, well, a woman in general, but this is probably even truer in Thailand. You have to be careful. There are countless stories of foreigners that get involved with Thai women and get taken to the cleaners. Yes, there is a trust element, but again, I have to agree that the trust goes both ways. So many people are coming here to Thailand to avoid that contact of building a trustful relationship. They are the fleeting audience who are coming and going and just getting their rocks off. Quite frankly, the men and women that I meet through daily life outside that paradigm, I could just say they're all in trusting relationships. And again, a relationship is something that just isn't a one-time thing and is done forever. A relationship is something that you have to work on, right? If you don't work the relationship just simply won't work. And over the 10 years, our relationship has changed over the 10 years. 10 years ago she was a cabaret dancer up there strutting her stuff, doing all the cabaret stuff and getting tips for showing her lovely sexy body and all that sort of stuff and on the stage.
Sorry, Mum just called. I'm back.
That's right. But now she's a business owner, and the relationship that we have has had to change course, right? It's no longer, I said, even 3 years ago when she was studying, she got plenty of time off and we could go and do the run around Thailand. We can go and do this, we can go and do that. We could go and do motorcycle rides. A relationship is something that you work on. And if you put it down to, I trust her, she trusts me, and you never work on the trust, you're going to find that it soon falls apart. And those Thai women are going to sort of soon find out the true person that you are and find better solutions to the being backdoored or being left to look after the kids, or this is where Thailand is very thing. It's a family thing, right? If you're not building not building and contributing to that family, as in the previous point, you are going to find that it's going to be really detrimental to your relationship. What do you think, Stephen? You're still back? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back again. So we
trust on trust. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you've moved on a bit. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me find the article. Okay, so we're talking about trust. Yes, some people will say that you should never trust a woman. Well, I would say I'd go further than that. You should never trust anyone. But this is the problem. But this is probably truer in Thailand. Well, that's all Bollywood. You have to be careful. There are countless stories of foreigners that get involved with the Thai women and get taken to cleaners. That's true, but I don't know if there are how many they are. There are countless if you're talking about a specific sector in the bars. But there's probably but relative to the number of people, there are probably just as many outside of the bars as well. So it's not just something that happens in the bars. I'd say don't trust anyone. Always be alert. As to there being countless stories, look, it seems to be that way. That's the feeling you get as an outsider. That's another one of those stereotypes that you would find if you put it to most people, they would agree with you.
Just hold on a second, Jade. Look, you have to just tell me what an FFS is. I don't know that acronym. I'm trying to.
For fuck's sake, that's what it means. FFS. For fuck's sake.
I swear, Warren. For 2020, you need to learn some Thai. For fuck's sakes, mate. Some Thai. I learned Thai. I'm quite Thai to mark it up. But I just...
He butchers. He doesn't learn it. He does learn it, but then he butchers it.
Apart from the fact that I butcher the Thai, it's Australian Thai, yeah. I do speak a lot of Thai, but I don't speak a lot of Thai on my channel because the channel, the audience is...
He's got an Aussie accent.
I got an Aussie accent with my Thai, yeah. So...
sour day crap.
ASOC. I'm going to ASOC, mate.
ASOC, Jesus Christ. Every time you say that, it's like a friggin' knife going through my heart.
Yeah, but I do speak a lot of Thai. I get by. I hear more than I speak. I still, do my best to sort of interact on a Thai level. But yeah, but I'm not going to have that argument. I said we're an international audience, and I'm speaking to foreigners, so I don't need to use my Thai.
She just wants you to speak Thai so she can have a laugh. That's all.
No, that's what I mean. She wants to laugh at me. She's an Australian transgender who wants me to speak Thai so she can laugh at me. I know.
All right, Ron. Just say, Sabadi mai krap. Now you say it.
Oh, Sabai Jai. Asked it Sabai Jai.
Sort of. Yeah, it sounds more gay when you say it.
Fuck off. Just fuck off. I'm going to mute you. Kick you off. Really?
You go, Sabai.
Anyway, we're moving on. Trust. Getting into number 4. Communication.
You thought I was funny then?
Yeah, probably did. I thought you were funny too. But anyway, number 4, communication. Go on, Stephen.
Can we do one more?
What?
Let's do another one. Do Mai Pen Rai Krap.
Mai Pen Rai?
Your turn.
What do you want to say? I got to know what to say,
All right, here we are.
I just don't talk Thai. I don't talk to myself in Thai,
Just sound happy. You're a happier person. I'm just a miserable old git. That's why I sound more Thai. I don't know. Let's see. That's my opinion that I sound more Thai than you. I don't think I do. Where are we up to?
Mm-hmm.
Trust, communication.
Communication, yeah.
Speak Thai fluently, yes. Communicating with your Thai girlfriend can be quite challenging. Well, I tend to use body language.
Well, I'm a great reader. I've read body language too, yes.
Sticking your tongue in your cheeks and pointing with your finger. Your relationship will suffer if you can't communicate with your partner. So if you're not using body language, right, let's leave body language out of there because we can all agree that's important in certain instances. I think it can be. I think it can be quite challenging. Well, it just speaks for itself. I mean, if you can't speak Thai, communicating, it's sort of stating the obvious, isn't it?
Well, the thing I would use here is that we do have, we have communication, between me and Chanya, and we have it's like half Thai, half English communication. Whereas, here's me, I get stuck on a Thai word. I don't feel in any way losing face or losing confidence in myself if I can't say a Thai word or if I say it with the wrong tone, right? I don't feel bad about that. But then Chanya, she'll actually stop in the middle of a conversation and says, I don't know the English word. But she knows you can go straight to her phone and put it in a thing, but she doesn't think that way, to get past such little challenges. So it can be challenging, but yeah, but we do.
I think the positive thing about losing face is that, it might get replaced with a better looking one.
But we communicate fairly well, and we don't have to communicate in Thai. We have a sort of our broken Thai English cross language. It's our own language,
What do you call it? Thaiglish or Thaiglish?
Tinglish.
Tinglish.
Tinglish, yeah. And we have very deep and meaningful conversations about all sorts of things. But I couldn't do that with another Thai because it's a language that we've developed,
It's a idiolect of sorts.
Yeah.
Between you and her, you developed your own little your communication system between the two of you.
Yeah. But now I am actively making inroads into learning more Thai because I'm finding more Thai people want to have conversations with me. Does that make sort of sense? I'm just meeting more Thais. Like I was at the pool party on last week, at Cha'am, and they're all speaking Thai. Now I could hear what this is saying, and every so often I would interject. They didn't think I knew what I was talking about, but then I'd give an answer.
You're more receptive to learning Thai because you've got the time. You're not like a tourist who's there for 5 minutes trying to find his way to the
local 7-Eleven. Yeah. I think more tourists are trying to get to this local 7-Eleven than the Grand Palace these days.
Kun narak mak. I think that means you love a lot or something. You love me a lot is one of the first phrases I learned. Yeah, so I think that's what it means. Narak. Kun narak mak. I mean you love me a lot, or you love
narak. Yes, cute. Narak is cute. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Well done, Warren. You've said it better than me. Yeah. Narak. Yeah, you're cute. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are very cute. Yeah. Mak is very. Yeah. Kun you narak mak. You're very cute. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
See, I haven't been there for a while, and I forget these words.
Yeah, obviously getting the Romanized inflections on the Thai as well.
Plus, I never got told I was cute.
Didn't you? Oh, poor boy.
I got nakiet.
Nakiet. I thought that was nagliat. Nagliat.
I got pompui as well.
Oh, you're gonna make me look that up, aren't you? I'm pretty sure it's nagliat.
Pompui is just fat. You're probably right. Nakiet. I think I haven't heard it for years.
Let me go into Thai to English.
I think it's Nakiet. You can put the speaker thing on. See what it says. The speaker on Google. Translate.
There it is. Nagliet. Nagliet.
Nakiek.
Nagliat.
How do they say? Lay the thing.
Nagliat. Kirai. Turai. I should show you what I'm looking at.
I used to hear Naki. I used to hear it as a key. Nakiet.
Right. This is a great little thing here. Search in English Thai or Thai transliteration. That's getting better and better, this site. Yeah, so it gives you the Romanized. There's the Nagliet. So I can actually go to that one. You can probably hear it sort of. I don't know. Will it? There we go.
Hello, Stephen. You're very interesting. That's enough.
And it breaks it down. It is a prefix added to a verb or adjective meaning worthy of, being, or gliat.
See if you can play the sound, Warren.
I don't think it's got the sound. I don't.
Yeah, it has.
Where?
At the top. There's a little speaker to the top. Go to the top. You're looking at the bottom. Scroll up.
I don't.
I don't hear nagliet. I hear nakiet. Nakiet. That's what I hear when I hear them say, oh, it's not there then. Okay. Maybe you have to go to Google Translate. Anyway.
If I go to that one there and go to this one, where is it? Where's my Thai language stuff? If I can get that one, go. Okay, it's not going to help me. So what about Google Translate? Google Translate. But again, this is an American.
เกลียด
น่าเกลียด
Nagilead. She's
They
saying
won't
no.
say nugly. No, they won't say
น่า
nugly.
เกลียด
That's what Google translates for you.
Well, it might
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, let's just, where were we?
Press play.
It's all right. I don't want to do it too much. That's all. Oh, now it's going to play an ad when I go back to the stream. Oh, only 19 thumbs up. Come on, guys, slackers.
Well, nugly does sound like ugly, I suppose. So
Yeah.
you're right. All right, let's move on. As I said, I remember it as Nakiet, but that's the thing. Okay, so what's happening now? What's the next one? Pros and cons.
It's a cultural difference.
differences.
Yeah.
Thai culture is very different than Western culture. Well, surprise, surprise, motherfuckers. And this may present problems for interracial relationships, blah, blah, blah. Learning and respecting Thai culture is absolute must. If you wish to have a successful day, yeah, let's move on. That's all. We've heard all that before. Take off your shoes, blah, blah, blah. Jealousy. As much as Thai women normally allow you your freedom, they are also known to be insanely jealous.
Oh,
They often have wild outbursts accusing you of sleeping with other women, and they can be suspicious of any interactions with other women. When John Bobbitt lost his most prized possession, it must be his penis,
yeah.
after his wife attacked him with a knife, he made headlines around the world. Incidents like this is actually fairly common in Thailand. I don't know if it's common.
And again, this is the article we want to move on to the next.
I hope it's not common. I'm saying I don't know if I'm disagreeing because I don't want it to be true.
No, well, that's it. I think we talked about it offline before. So, and don't forget, like the Getting back to the thing, the Discord channel. We do have these conversations quite often on our Discord. Let's do a
quick poll. Has anybody ever had their penis cut off in Thailand?
I don't know anybody directly, but I hear of it and see it in news. So I said, the John Bobbitt issue has made world headlines. Right, but as I said, that's how often does it happen in the West? How often do you see news articles in the West of that particular thing happening? Maybe it's suppressed, I don't know. But over here, it does make headline articles, right? And you'll hear of it quite often. At least you'll hear I'll see it on a Thai Visa article probably once every 2 months, of a different situation where it's made the news. So it does happen
Really?
quite regularly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Especially in the rural areas where they do, when the men, do play up a bit,
And is it Western men too? I guess it's Western
No,
men.
it's really. I don't think it's really happening with Western men. It's more Thai men.
But
Okay,
it has happened.
I like to change the game.
Game for what?
Okay, the game as in the topic, the Thai man and the women, which is husband and wife, right? They bought the lotto ticket, and apparently they won the first prize. Guess who ran away with the ticket?
The woman?
The man.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I just don't. I don't think that's probably it's an example of just a bad relationship. I don't think it's particularly Thai. But yeah, doesn't quite fit into the whole paradigm we're doing here about the dating process. That's just a unique situation. Whoever's quickest off the mark, would probably win the ticket. But she would have probably every grounds to file for that in court of law anyway. So, what's the mitigating circumstances? It's a very hard one to sort of say. But anyway, back to the jealousy. We talk about the jealousy. And in my situation, even after 10 years, right?
I think it's true. They do.
At the pool party. At the pool party, for instance, right? And we're all in the pool together. We're all having fun together. We're all pushing each other around, splashing each other, right? She
floating penises went by.
She did feel jealous about that. That I was interacting with other women. That was the comment. She said, that was a lesbian comment. She was getting it. She was the tongue-in-cheek sort of aspect.
Having a go at you a bit, yeah.
She's having a bit of a sort of go at me. The next day, she also sort of made inferences to the fact that you seem to be enjoying yourself a little bit too much. Well, said, I've got 6 women. I've got 6 women that want to have some fun and play pool and come on. I'm
Joe Ford says my penis got called cute once. Not sure what that meant.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Not going to go there. Seriously, not going to go there.
If they say to you, "Is it in yet?" that also means it's small.
Anyway, what was the most thing we were talking about on Tuesday night? This Tuesday night, we were talking about foreigners and the Japanese. What was it? Was it on Discord? We talked about it with the 444 rule.
No, I haven't heard this one.
Right, if I can get it right. 4,000 baht, 4 inches for 4 minutes. That's why they like the Japanese. The 444 rule.
You hear about, just a quick aside, did you hear about that guy who went to hospital because, and when he went to hospital, they had to amputate his legs, or his leg. And unfortunately, they cut the wrong leg off. They cut the wrong leg off. But then, so anyway, he apparently got himself a good lawyer, and he went to court to sue them. And they said he hasn't got a leg to stand on.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, I did like the comment about the 444 rule, right? So, the reason why the bar girls like the Japanese, and you'll see it. If the Japanese come in, they are all over them. 4,000 baht, 4 inches for 4 minutes. If you know what that means.
Yes, I do.
They have trouble keeping it in.
Robert Mack's in the house. Robert Mack's in the house.
Robert Mack's back. Yes, g'day, Robert Mack.
Somebody said something quite funny earlier. Oh, yeah, we read that out. Sorry, Joe Ford. I love eating meat. Don't hate me, please. This channel attracts a very eclectic audience, Dallo. Eclectic. Yeah, we've got a good audience in this channel. Very good audience.
And I'm sure it'll grow. I'm sure it'll grow. They said we're just going to get a few more in the Discord.
That's what she said about my penis. I'm sure it'll grow.
But we like to sort of talk positively, talk up about sort of the things that normally sort of get the different sort of slant on it. I think
Dave wants to know how much is it these days to hire a ladyboy for the night. It's not my area, Ryan. You can talk about that.
From the discussions we've had when we've been out, you've still got a bar fine, but you'll usually find the bar fine at those places is less than, say, Billboard. Like the bar fine at Billboard's I think 1,000 baht, whereas a ladyboy go-go bar would be maybe 700 baht. And then
it's a bar fine. Is that when you get a hard on, or what?
That's to get them out, take them out of the bar into somewhere else. And yeah, the price can vary between 1,000 and 2,000 baht, from what I've been told. Although I haven't had the opportunity to partake in that sort of side of life for 10 years, I do hear the feedback from people,
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, like in Billboard, they're commanding up to 3,000 baht now for the short time. It's bloody ridiculous. What makes them so special? I reckon there's cuter ones around.
Let's see. Cheating's the last one.
Cheating.
Men in Thailand have far more opportunities to be unfaithful to their partner than they would back home. Don't know if that's true. However, for Thai men, I think so, but maybe not for foreign men. This goes both ways. As easy as it is for men to cheat on their girlfriends or wives, they aren't the only ones sneaking around. Yeah,
well, this is an odd one. So again, it's back to that point 5. It is a cultural thing. We've talked about this before in other streams, whereas it is an accepted part of Thai culture. Although it's not a favourable part, it is an accepted thing. It's expected that a Thai man will have a mia noi and a gig. Right, so there's 3 women in that relationship. If he's got money, right, he'll have a wife, he'll have a second wife, and he'll have a gig, right? Or multiple gigs, right? That's the way it is here in Thailand. He's got the money, he's the affluent person, right? It won't happen for the working class, but again, the working class that aren't well-to-do, they do find themselves straying quite regularly, depending on the level of the trust and relationship. Again, it's just the way it is here in Thailand. I do see it more here than I did back at home. That sort of promiscuousness. Although we have a promiscuous society in Australia.
I used to see a lot of foreign men thinking how like they were playboys because they could pay different bar girls. I don't see it the same way. I don't think you're a playboy if you just pay a lot of bar girls to go with you.
No. Basically, I'm talking about the ones that are having extracurricular. Basically a gig. It's not a paid relationship. A gig is not a paid relationship. Gig is just a fuck buddy. That's it is.
Yeah.
It is an accepted part of Thailand here. It really comes back, from 150 years ago. It's been inbred in their society. It's almost like a badge of honour, right? How many gigs do you have, and how many more? You only have one mea noi. That's a gig that's obviously got it to the next level. I don't want to sort of mention it, but even it came through recently through the stratified society here with the ruling monarch. But that's as much as I'll say about it. That's obviously been put to rest now, and he's no longer having the second wife. But get the idea. It's even at that level in society, it's still an accepted part of their culture to have that second wife.
Well, that ties it all up then. Now, do you really want to talk about the penis thing? I think we'll leave it, eh?
I don't know. Well, I thought it made a good article.
All right, I'll just see if it's here. Hold on a sec. Let's have a look at it.
It's in the news.
Why Thai women cut, because we did allude to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But why Thai women cut off their husbands' penises?
Is there a Darlo? Is there a gig app somebody would like to share? I think it's called Tinder.
There's a penile app.
Is there a penile app? Yeah. Okay. So an epidemic of penile amputations in Thailand led research.
Penile colony. An epidemic of penile amputations in Thailand has led researchers to inquire what the fuck's going on. And about once per decade, the medical profession, that's what they call themselves, take a careful look at Thailand's plethora of penile amputations. The first great reckoning appeared in 1983, blah, 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 blah. It became fashionable in the 70s. Traditional Thai home is elevated on pilings and the windows are open to allow for ventilation. This is the part I like. The area under the house is the home of the family pigs, chickens and ducks. Thus, it is quite usual that an amputated penis is tossed out of an open window where it may be captured by a duck. The report explains for readers in other countries the Thai saying, "I better get home or the ducks will have something to eat," is therefore a common joke immediately understood by all levels of society. So there you go. That's something I didn't know before.
Yeah, and I think the other term I've heard here in Thailand is so that's that one there. I better get home before the ducks will have something to eat, or feeding the ducks, and it's been quite often misconstrued when I've said it, because like we have a sort of saying, feeding the chickens. Yeah, feeding the chickens is masturbation, but feeding the ducks, right, is what the wife will do if you stray. She'll have something to feed the ducks.
Because under the house there's a home of family pigs, chickens, and ducks. You could say feeding the pigs, chickens, or ducks. I think they would know what you meant.
Yeah.
Thus, it's quite unusual that an amputated penis is tossed out of an open window where it may be captured by a duck. Well, at least they're caring about it,
Yeah.
So, you can't say they're just monsters because they cut our penises off. I mean, they do care. They won't just let the ducks have it.
What's the ducks eating then? But yeah, so unlike obviously the Bobbitt incident, he managed to have his sewn back on. I still don't know whether it's actually fully functional as can be still used in that sort of sense. But if it does go down the duck's gullet, it's gotten that's it. That
All the chickens, all the pigs.
that poor lad is going to have a bit of a difficulty. Yes,
It's a very interesting remark. I might even try it next time when I'm in Thailand. Just say to them, see what they say. I better get home, or the ducks will have something to eat. I might just try it. I'd love to know how to say that in Thai. Actually, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those ones that we'll have to sort of investigate. I'm sure we will find it. Yeah,
I definitely want to use that because I reckon it'd be hilarious.
Anyway, moving on. The bulk of the paper reports how doctors and their colleagues learned over the course of attempting 18 reimplantations. Reimplantations? I wouldn't have called it.
So you're putting it back together again.
I wouldn't call it implantation, but how to improve the necessary surgical techniques.
And they just stick it back on.
Yeah.
You can't actually reattach it. You just got to stick it on with super glue or something. How to improve the necessary surgery. Ambiguous photograph. So interestingly, the physicians remark at the very end, none of our patients filed a criminal complaint against their attackers. I found that interesting.
Yeah, I find that interesting as well. It doesn't actually give us any numbers of how many cases there have been.
Probably because they've got their penis cut off and they not ready to complain at this point in time.
Again, they're going to lose face, aren't they?
Well, they've lost their dick, so losing their face is not going to matter.
But as I said, again, that would be another one. Like, what's worse, losing face or losing your dick?
Losing your dick.
I think the way ties are, sometimes I think losing face could be considered to be more detrimental to your life.
Unless you're a lady boy and you're going to do.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work because but it's the foreskin. But the foreskin is the actual part that is used to extend the cavity that they create. So having that off, then of course you've got no skin to create the tunnel. So basically you become a eunuch.
They should at least get a discount.
Yeah, well, you become a eunuch, not a transgender. You don't have any gender per se. It'll be just completely blank down there.
Fidelity is the main reason.
Oh yeah, so an article. What's that word?
Fidelity is the most strongly appreciated value. So it's people who play around. What they want in is fidelity. They're saying if there's no fidelity, that's when it's likely to happen.
Yeah.
Women publicly encouraging and inciting other scorned women to commit this act worsened the epidemic. Yeah, so they encouraged each other. Yeah, cut his penis off. They were telling each other, cut his penis off.
Mm-hmm.
TM30 song, TM30.
Cut his penis off.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You get your penis cut off if you overstay on your visa. That's apparently another one as well.
Is that right? Yeah.
So, I'll go into that now. Yeah, your penis can be cut off.
Unfortunately, it doesn't give us any numbers.
No, it did. It did give us the numbers. It's said up here somewhere, but
that was 18. That was 18 attempted reimplantations, right?
Oh yeah.
They took them 18 before they actually mastered the technique.
Well, they don't know the exact numbers because the ducks have eaten them.
Yeah, that's right. So it's giving you an idea. So there's at least 18 have turned up in the hospitals that didn't work very well. There's probably more now that do work better, but how many get swallowed by the duck?
Well, if there are any ducks acting like pricks, then you probably know.
Yeah. Okay.
Two articles done, Sunshine.
Well, that's right. So we did cover this one. Well, we can probably talk about this more offline. You started going off on this one here, where we talk about the Thai men, the Asian, the foreigners coming here to Thailand looking for love, and this article here is the fact that talking about the foreign women that come into Thailand to look for love as well.
Jess, what about the article Bangkok's Golden Era according to expats?
I think we'll do that next time.
I always find that interesting.
Yeah. I think that's we'll find a few more sort of complimentary articles over the next few days to see if we can.
I like that whole subject of is Thailand better today than it was back in say the 80s or the 70s or the 90s? or you just say it is what it is, you know, and probably some people do say that. You hear a lot of the times people sort of yearn for the old days, you know?
Yeah, now you've actually found a few videos on YouTube of showing, you know, Thailand in the 70s and the 60s and, you know, like, you know, the 8mm film reels. I think we can probably sort of, you know, do that and do snippets of that without any audio. But I don't think they've got audio anyway. But
there's a video on this article here. There's a video here that you can show, possibly.
Well, that depends on the copyright on that. And so
Bangkok scenes 85, 87 and 96. But anyway, we'll leave that for next time.
That's a podcast. There's a coconut. Where's the videos? Did you say that? Oh no, so that's the wrong article. That's on that article, yeah. But yeah, so why finding? Yeah, so this one here talks about the challenges women are finding here. I don't know. Is there something we wanted to explore?
Have we got that up on the thing so I can see it, or?
Oh yeah, it's in the articles there. It's the one you sent, you know. It's the one below the knife article.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, dating despair. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at that.
Well, you're the one you're the one who collected it. So.
Actually, funnily enough, it's on the website called Coconuts Bangkok. I've heard that website before.
Yeah, I think I follow Coconuts on Twitter. So.
Yeah, I remember Archie Luxury was appeared on there in one of their articles one time.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny. He's a funny guy, that guy. Dating Despair is a 4-part series about why dating in Bangkok, well, sucks. This story is a collection of anecdotes from foreign women who live in the capital. Yeah, look, this is kind of interesting.
Is it a 4-part series? Did we go 4 parts of it? Or
Yeah, it was talking about...
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, okay. So we might save this one for another day as well. I'll go and read the 4 and we'll...
it's quite complex. It's talking about how Western women and their relationships with Thai men, and how they perceive the foreigners, the foreign men in Thailand, and you know, and there's a lot of case studies there. How easy it is for them to date Thai men, and why Thai men date them. So we'll probably leave that for another time,
that was the first of the article. That's the foreign women coming to find Thai men. Why finding love is hard in Bangkok for Thai men. Finding love in Bangkok hard for Thai women, and finding love in Bangkok is hard for foreign men. So it's again, there's the 4 angles, and it's specifically it's about They're talking about Bangkok here. I don't think
it's interesting from the point of view that for many years that was always about foreign men dating Thai women, but now we're seeing like, for example, a lot of Japanese women. There's the whole thing about that, how a lot of Japanese women are going over there to date Thai men. They've got this fixation with them. They love them.
Yeah.
So we will. How Thai women.
Yeah, go on. So we'll save that one for another. I'll have to actually read all 4 of the articles.
I think we covered the 2 main ones.
Do
you want to finish off, Warren, with showing some of your videos, the latest Thai videos or news things that you want to talk about, or
well, I've got nothing
ready to wind up, aren't we?
I think we've done 2.5 hours. That's all right. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So what I was going to do is just in the closing, talking about the fact that you know what I did at the beginning. So we've got everybody's here now. That links again. So you're always welcome to come and join us on our Discord channel. There's a little bit of an approval process to get all access to the material. Right, you've got to sort of agree to the rules and conditions, so otherwise you won't get opened up all the channels. Don't forget, you've got the website. Go over to the website and subscribe to the website. You don't have to give any money. You just become a subscriber and, you know, hit the what they call notifications. I'm going to start moving into more small snippet piece video making, but it's not going to go public on YouTube. It's more of the nitty gritty. I still haven't got a name title for it. I'm thinking of calling it Hacking Thailand, and it's just my tips and tricks of dealing with living in the Bangkok area, and getting to know Bangkok back to France. Like I said, tips about, the apps that I've talked about, the bus app, the Grab app, just little video, 3 to 5 minutes long, which doesn't fit into our adventures in Thailand, which is, the two of us, living together as a couple in Thailand, and the live stream. So that's where we're going to try to separate all these little smaller bits and pieces where you might want to reference, and that's going to be so much easier to do on the search on my website as opposed to YouTube. So I'm going to build a new page for the website, which is going to be all the collection of where this is stuff that's been getting collected. So get over there and sort of subscribe to the website, become a subscriber, or you just subscribe to the newsletter, so you can be part of that over there. Again, we're going to be knocking down the live streams down to 1, which is a Saturday live stream. Although I do want to sort of service our Monday night crew, it's not because of the trolls on Monday night. I love my trolls as well, but what I'm going to be doing is doing more Twitch live streams. As I said, more me mucking around playing sort of games. So I've got my Twitch up and running now, so you can get over there and hit the subscribe button on Twitch, which means you've got to become, you've got to set up an account on Twitch. You're not really making any videos, but you've got to be sort of subscribed to Twitch, so you'll get the notifications when I go live. DTAC sending me a message. Don't forget, those things that I put on my website will also go up on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon follower, they won't be sort of restricted to Patreon. There will be a few Patreon only things that I'll do going forward, but they're the more sort of specific ones that I want to keep between that community and of course the site membership, the people who are supporting us financially. So there might be some financial tips and tricks as well about how to do things, how to save some money, which I think I'm going to leave for our Patreons and our site members who are contributing to our sort of site going forward. And again, if you ever feel like buy me a beer, or you don't mind, beer money is always good. Although I drink vodka, Red Bulls, and things like that. I don't drink beer anymore, but I should change that to buy me a vodka.
Well, we don't go in a drinking session with Warren, because if you've got a shout, you're paying twice as much.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't. I always just say, separate bill. But yeah, and don't forget. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Anyway, so that's wrapping that up. What I need to do is get the tune ready to play.
Yes. Let me just type something in first. Let's see here. I've got to type something in. Cue the song and get off.
Cue the song and get off. Anyway, it's been a great stream. Thanks for being coming along for the ride as usual. And we'll we'll either catch you on Twitch, right? If you come over there and sort of check out the gaming, that's my passion. I like my gaming. The Twitch channel's up and running, so join our Discord, join us on Twitch.
To all the viewers, there's been a consistent 26, 27, 30 odd watching all night, and equals the thumbs up, which is 29. So thanks, guys and girls.
Yep, and we'll catch you later. The Twitch will be totally random. It's whenever I get whenever I can see myself with a couple of hours spare and not doing anything, I'm going to be on Twitch. If you're following us on Discord, you'll see when I'm going, because it'll have the little thing on Twitch that I'm streaming, or what game I'm playing. That whole thing. It's just more random. Love to have you along there, and we can speak a little bit more openly, because it's Twitch, it's not YouTube, and we get a bit more fun. And it's really about having some fun and having you join. Maybe you want even, I don't know. Oggie's been talking about building. Somebody's just said they've subscribed. Who was that? The Lost Alan has followed me on Twitch. How's that? Oggie's getting his computer set up so he can hopefully join us, and we can do some adventuring on Star Citizen together. But again, it'll be Star Citizen, for a few weeks, and then we might move on to another game or something like that. It all depends. But that's going to be sort of what's coming up. Anyway,
And remember, before you go, you better get home, or the ducks will have something to eat.
that's right. There we go. There's somebody else there. There we go. Seen Lynch, he's gone and followed us on Twitch as well. How's that? So that's where we're going to be hanging out more often. We'll still do our Saturday live streams because it just works for me better. I'm just finding that I'm actually putting off doing things on Monday because I'm trying to get home for Monday night to do the 5 o'clock live stream. That was another reason behind it as well. So stay tuned, and we love having you along. And thanks for joining us. And we'll cue the music, and we'll get out of your hair. Bye for now.